Welcome to Commentary Time. I am Christopher Lee, and I will be doing the commentary for Star Wars Episode VII. Wait, what? I'm dead.
Yeah, dude.
I've died.
Yeah, you're not around anymore.
That's sad.
There shall be more gurgling in this commentary than usual.
That's sad. Rest in peace, Christopher Lee. This one's dedicated to you. You rocked.
Count Dooku.
Christopher Lee played Count Dooku in Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones.
Which is what we're watching.
That's the commentary we're going to do today.
Yes, indeed.
I'm Randy, your host. Sitting next to me is...
Michael McFarland.
Alex.
Boom. We're going to do commenting on a movie that is a prequel to the Star Wars classic trilogy, Episode II, Attack of the Clones. Not my favorite of the prequel films. Probably my least favorite of the prequel films. So this will be an interesting commentary.
At least there's a little bit less Jar Jar.
I'm going to do some digging, but I'm also going to try to while I may dig on the film, I'm going to try to talk about what I like.
Oh, yeah,
what
absolutely.
I like about it. It's whatever. But Alex, you've not seen this.
I've not seen it.
I love doing these commentaries, because Randy he's complete film buff.
Yeah.
I am a journeyman in the world of film watching. I've seen most of these movies that we're talking about at least once.
Let me put this in sort of humorous musical terms. I am a radio station.
All right.
Michael is a CD collector or an album collector. Alex has like 3 CDs.
I'm an Amish guy with a bootleg DVD. And that's it.
And no DVD player.
Yeah. I bet this is awesome, guys.
So yeah, it's great doing these
my God.
because Alex comes to them like without any preconceptions or knowledge of what the plot is, so you get a really, really fresh. Because I'm guessing if you're watching this film with the commentary, you've probably seen it once.
I hope you've seen it.
Which means that you've got one up on Alex as far as knowledge and understanding regarding.
Alex
this
will be
film,
watching this film without sound and only subtitles.
Yes.
None of John Williams' score to guide him. None of the wonderful performances that you will see in this film. From actors who are trying slightly to act a little bit less wood-like than they did in the first one, more wood-like.
I'm really excited for this.
This is a good one.
Great.
So we have the film queued up to the 20th Century Fox News Corporation Company logo,
or the planned obsolescence logo, as I like to call it.
We will be pressing play in just a moment. If you are at home and you have Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones on Blu-ray, throw that fucker in and watch this film with us, or just listen to this on the car or the subway or maybe in a taxi.
If you've seen
listen
the
to
movie,
it while you're
probably
having sex with your girlfriend. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you want to be, but maybe that's something you're interested in. I don't know.
Or with your boyfriend. Either way.
With your boyfriend.
Yeah.
It could be
2 chicks at once. Whatever gets you going.
Whatever blasts your socks
If
into the
our
stratosphere.
soothing voices are what gets you and your loved ones going, then have at it.
Yeah, so in just a moment, we're going to press play. So hopefully, while we've been bullshitting for the past few minutes, you've been queuing that up and getting it ready to the 20th Century Fox logo. We'll sort of audio describe things every once in a while so you can keep synced with us. If you lose sync, we're going to lose sync ourselves, so don't worry about it. And
there's usually at least one bathroom break, so if things get weird,
We just ate some... We just ate some chili.
So
there might be some farting on this commentary track.
So if you
there
hear
may be
like
a poop break,
slight gagging noises happening, that's us trying to continue the movie.
That's us trying very hard to live in our own cloud of farts.
So I'm hoping, that may be a metaphor for the watching experience of this film. But,
this whole film sits in its own cloud of farts.
We'll wish you the same.
You can waft gently with us as we comment along on the stream that is Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones. And what a lonely stream it is. All right. In 3, 2, 1, I just pressed play. It is now officially playing.
Searchlights are moving.
Searchlights are moving.
Slowly drifting.
We're going to be fading out.
Lucasfilm logo?
Lucasfilm logo
all green.
is all green.
Sparkly.
Goes to silver.
goes to yellow.
gold. This is like a descriptive commentary track.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's like so many audio commentaries I've listened to where like they just describe what you're seeing on screen.
In case you're not watching the movie, here's what you're seeing on screen.
William Friedkin, who's a filmmaker who I absolutely is probably one of my very favorite filmmakers, but that guy either offers you the best commentary you've ever heard, or he just describes what's happening on screen.
Well, in the spirit of that, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Killer
There is
Tomatoes.
unrest in the Galactic Senate. Several thousand solar systems have declared their intentions to leave the Republic. This separatist movement, under the leadership of mysterious Count Dooku,
Count Chocula,
has made it difficult for the limited number of Jedi Knights to maintain peace and order in the galaxy.
Boom.
Senator Amidala, the former queen of Naboo, is returning to the Galactic Senate to vote on the critical issue of creating an army of the Republic to assist the overwhelmed Jedi...
Ellipsis plus an extra period.
Yep,
to close
extra
out.
ellipsis.
Apparently there is no more story because they put a period at the end of the ellipsis.
Credits just keep on rolling through.
Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Now it's like the end credits because that's it. That's the whole story. Attack of the Clones. Here we are. The very first one shot entirely digital. I will give him credit for being... That was groundbreaking to shoot a film digitally. I think it's going to shoot the film in the foot in the future just because I'm not sure the resolution they shot this at. I want to say it was 2K. I don't think it was 4K. It might be, but I have a feeling in the future episode 2 and 3 are not going to look so good.
Gotcha.
It already doesn't look very good. It already looks really soft, and it just looks like a cosplay kid's got an iPhone and
I was noticing that it looks a little bit flat, like almost like and that
kind of
that might be something that they could just
recolor
color correct it, and it would help. It looks very like kind of gray and hazy.
I'm gonna look up the master quality. When this came out, so it's a funny story about episode 2 is my friends and we always had this. I had a teacher in 9th grade, Mr. Michaels, 9th grade English teacher, was a fantastic teacher, and I remember he once said, "You can get very far with a business suit." And so my friends and I tested this theory. We were going to see this movie at midnight, and we kind of knew everybody would be dressing up as Star Wars characters and whatnot. We decided that we were going to wear business suits to the premiere of this. We were going to stand in line all day long for the midnight screening of this, and then we were going to have our business suits. What ended up being so amazing about that is I really wanted, they had just installed digital projectors for the very first time in movie theaters. And my friends and I walk in and I tell them, like, guys, just go along with me. We walk in and I immediately, I ask for the manager. I'm like, hey, can I speak with the manager? And they say, okay. And I walk over, they walk over and they see us in our business suits. And I'm like, hi, I represent the company that, had this digital projector, and I was wondering if we could take a look at it.
Did you say the company's name, or did you just say, I represent, that company?
I represent, I think I said Barco because I knew Barco was an LED green company. I said, I represent Barco, and I'd like to take a look at your digital projector, if that's all right. They just were like, okay.
Wow.
They walked us right up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they showed us how they worked. They walked us through the entire thing. They had no idea that we were waiting in line, and so then as soon as we were done, we were like, thank you, and then we walked out and we stood in line. We got right in line. But we pissed so many people off that day because we wore these business suits and everybody else was in their Star Wars outfits. But all the news trucks that came by to do news specials, they were so fascinated by the guys in suits, like we were the ones on TV.
The most elaborate cosplay cannot compare to the two guys wearing suits.
So Mr. Michaels,
when the cosplay is the norm, the suits become the anomaly.
Yeah, Mr. Michaels, you're probably not listening. I don't even know whether you're alive anymore, Mr. Michaels. I hope you're alive. If you are, thank you for that piece of advice. It was absolutely, absolutely paramount to my Star Wars Episode 2 viewing experience. I do actually remember really liking this movie when I first saw it, just because it was a little bit different than Episode 1. It was a little less playful, a little less childlike. Nowadays, though, looking back, it's probably my least favorite of all the Star Wars movies, just because I think it is it's a very flat picture in a lot of ways. It feels like everybody's kind of just going through the motions while they're waiting to get to episode 3.
Right. And so there's something interesting that Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu just said there, which is he said that they're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. Like, you're fucking called knights.
Yeah.
I do believe that if you take on the title knight, that's a little more than just keeper of the peace.
I mean, that plays better than, like, the Jedi guidance counselors.
Jedi guidance.
Okay, guys, all right.
We're just here to keep the peace.
Here, we're gonna make a rope bridge.
All right, everybody, we're going ziplining now.
Yoda, the first look of Yoda as CG, which was slightly jarring, but definitely better than the nightmare puppet of episode 1.
better than the first draft puppet from last time.
Oh boy. I'm looking up the full tech specs here on what they shot this in. The master format was 2K, so it will never look better than 2K.
Yep.
I mean, they may be able to up-convert it a little bit, but, all the 4K TVs, this movie's going to look like shit.
Yep. And, I was walking through Target earlier today, and 4K TVs are getting cheaper and cheaper.
Oh, yeah, they're getting cheap. So in a few more years, episodes 2 and 3 are going to look very different from the rest of them, and it's going to be a kind of a tragedy. But it was a groundbreaking thing. I believe that girl in the background was maybe Rose Byrne.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm going to look that up.
The green
I'm just
one
saying, I'm making up trivia now.
You need a fact checker just sitting there Googling the stuff you say.
Everything Randy says, we just need someone off camera.
Well, I can't confirm you ever dressed up in a suit and got the guy to explain the projector to people who allegedly work for the company who should already know how the projector works.
Yeah, she plays Dorme. She's the girl in the background.
So this is a movie that I've actually probably only seen about twice.
Okay.
Which
is 2 more times than Alex.
Right. But I'm mostly familiar with the plot of this, most recently from the Lego Star Wars films, which I Lego Star Wars games for Wii, which I played through within the last 6 months. So I know what what chase sequences and what environments and the general obstacles and things like that will be coming up. So yeah, it's amusing now going back to it and actually watching the film when I'm used to, like, okay, I need to bash every object in this room and use the component parts to build this switch that I can use to open that door, and then I get to talk to Mace Windu.
Incidentally, there are actually some Lego Star Wars mini movies about a half hour long. They're pretty funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're worth checking out. Yeah, that right there is Rose Byrne next to Natalie Portman.
Uh-huh.
Annie, my God, you look like a different actor. Wow, and you're giving me creepy eyes right off the bat, and I'm scared of you. Get away from me.
Like the age difference still creepy, even
because she's still like a bit older than him.
Yep.
And
because she was supposed to be like 17 in the last movie, and he was 2.
No, I think she was supposed to be 14.
Oh, she was 14. Okay, and he was like.
So she's probably in her 20s, and she's not like 24,
right.
and he's like 17 or something like that.
Still a little creepy.
Yeah, it's still a little. It's definitely a legal gray area.
Right on the other
hand,
because
of which state they're in or what country they're in, or whatever.
If you were in high school, like you're a senior in high school, and one of your buddies is dating this 24-year-old chick who is crazy rich and all that, you'd just be giving him high fives.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I actually dated somebody who was much older than me when I was in high school. She didn't know I was young until like our first date. Huh. I asked her out and she was like, yeah, sure. And then we went out and she was like, so she's telling me about like drinking with her buddies. And I was like, yeah, I'm 16. She was like 21. I'm like 16.
Was there a second date?
Yeah, there was actually like 3 dates. We went on a few dates.
All right then.
Yeah.
Did you get her to buy you drinks?
No.
I was like, because if you're that age and you're dating a 21-year-old, that's one of the big bonuses is, all right, you can go buy, you can go to the liquor store.
I felt like, I felt a little, it just felt weird, and that's probably why it didn't work.
Probably
because it was weird as shit and probably illegal.
Which is, which is about
dancing
how
the pedophile line right there. I mean, yeah, I'm 16. She's 21. I think in the state of Ohio that might be legal. I don't know, but that was.
I don't think it actually. I'm pretty sure it's not.
It probably.
I'm 99% sure not legal.
Just for legal purposes, we actually didn't do anything. we didn't do anything. I think we kissed. I think that was about it. But yeah, fucking Jar Jar's in this scene.
At least he's not saying much. He's just looking sort of sheepish and tired.
He is responsible though for like granting the permission to like build the clone army or something like that. It's like his thing later on.
So it's all his fucking fault.
Mm-hmm. It is Jar Jar's fault.
All Jar Jar's fault.
He was talked into it.
I think
they're really trying really hard to be like dark and mysterious with this movie, and it just has a really weird tone in the beginning.
It's weird because I know it's all green screen, but a lot of these shots almost feel like they're day for night shots.
Yeah, they do. Because there's like a weird toning to them.
Yeah, like especially that shot outside with the lighting and all that. It feels like they used a day for night filter. Which is ridiculous because I'm sure it's all in studio green screen. They could set the lighting exactly how they want.
Yeah. You're using her as bait. It was her idea. Don't worry, no harm will come to her. I feel like he's very much based on Wesley Crusher. Like they kind of went with the Wesley Crusher, sort of like interesting, but also sort of annoying.
Wesley never had a rat tail though.
Yeah.
I've
recently been rewatching all the Next Generation movies. I like Wesley Crusher's character. I miss him when he leaves.
At least that little ponytail sprig isn't a full-on man bun.
Yeah.
If we could trace the current man bun trend back to...
Was that device's entire purpose just to hold one container?
I'm pretty sure. It's like a little, like, stupid little courier droid.
It's like a bank. Like, that's like...
Yeah, exactly... It's like the hydraulic systems at banks.
Let me tell you, if you could shrink me down Ant-Man style, I want to travel in one of those.
There's
a big one.
We could just build it like a man-sized one. George Lucas has $4 billion from selling this to Disney World. That's probably what he's building at his house is a massive
tube robot.
I actually did a science project in high school on pneumatic propulsion systems, which is exactly what that was, and investigating the potential of those for human transport.
Yeah.
So that's
probably really jarring.
So if you want to contrast what Mike did in high school versus what Randy did in high school, Mike built pneumatic tubes and Randy dated questionable college students.
See, I had no idea. I worked at Best Buy, and she used to come into Best Buy just to see me. She didn't know how young I was. It was probably so awkward for her. I wish I knew her so I could just get that get that side of the story, because I imagine it was really funny. And that thing just pooped. Just pooped some centipedes.
That also seems like it's a really specialized
CGI
droid that's mainly intended.
That's the same droid.
Was that the same one?
Yeah, it is delivering its package.
Got it. Okay, so he stuck the tube in there, but it had already been infested with.
Yeah, I love how the laser lines don't even catch anything. R2 you don't have any heat sensors. You can't detect. Some of these shots are really iconic in that they were all in the trailer, and. The trailers really made this movie seem very ominous and sort of dark and moody, and there are some really good shots in here. That R2 with the lasers on the floor is a really good one. But here we go. But this is a pretty decent little. It's a very contrived action scene. It's a good action scene that's coming up. None of them really makes a whole lot of sense.
Is it the chase scene that happens? The speeder chase scene?
Yeah. Okay, there's a whole big, huge chase.
I remember that from the Lego Star Wars game.
He could have totally just cut her head off right there. Oh shit, I cut her head off. Oh god, can you use the Force to bring her back to life? Because I'm supposed to have babies with her. He just randomly runs out. What's funny about this is in this scene, I think Plinkett Reviews points this out about how he will later on criticize Anakin Skywalker for sort of being hasty when he literally the definition of being hasty.
Dove out through a window with about a mile up from the ground to grab onto a flying delivery drone with no backup plan. I'm just gonna hang on to this thing.
Yeah.
And you wonder why Anakin's a little bit immature and gun jumping.
Yeah. Horn honking. I think we do see like a Sebulba, whatever his species is, coming up. Yeah, there he is. I want to say it's Sebulba because why not? Jedi Poodoo. Yeah, that's Sebulba. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the same. And
people in comments are gonna be like, "That's not Sebulba."
Well, I don't know if it was actually him, but he was speaking Huttese, so he definitely, was almost certainly somewhere in that area. Cause
that's a cool gun. I think this girl posed in Playboy after this. I want to say I would put a picture up, but it would be not
checker.
So I can half remember all these. I'm probably right on all of them. I just don't want to confidently say it and then have people in the comments be like, "No, that's not right."
Now, was she riding the fame from being the failed assassin from the second
I think so.
prequel?
I think it was right after.
Really?
Yeah. What's her face from Star Trek VI? She was doing a nude shoot on the bridge of the Enterprise. Kim Cattrall.
Oh, really?
From Sex and the City when she played the.
Oh yeah. Well, and of course there was the actress who played Tasha Yar that did that as well. Denise.
Even after surviving the rape gangs on that planet. Did you see the actress who played Kess on Voyager just got arrested?
Oh, I feel so bad.
Oh yeah.
I loved Kess when I was in because she was just so cute on Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, she was. She absolutely
And then I saw the pictures of her and she just looks like.
I was like, she looks like a gym teacher. She looks like a really mean
a 7th grade gym teacher who is really angry.
I apologize because we are so far off topic that this has nothing to do with this.
Well, it's because this is all action.
I know. It's
what
are
we looking at right now.
Supposed to say about this? Did you see the article about the high school music teacher right around here that got fired for having a secret porn career?
Yeah, I did. I hate that shaming crap.
Yep.
Whatever. They had a porn career,
Exactly. It's not like she was bringing porn to school.
It's not like she's shooting fucking porn with the students.
Yeah,
that would be a problem.
Exactly. I don't really have an issue with a high school music teacher.
Incidentally, I did have a high school teacher.
Where did you go to high school? Good lord.
No, she kept she was a part-time teacher and she was 22. Just got hired, and I'm 18 at the time, and so
now that is legal.
That is legal, and there was I think she just liked me, but I'm not gonna go out with a teacher. That'd be pretty fun, but in terms of just cred, street cred, but it's also really weird.
Yep.
It's so fucking weird. This is a person who's been to college and is now teaching youngsters, and I'm one of the youngsters. But I can't remember her name now. Actually, I'm remembering it, but for anonymity purposes, I'm not going to say it.
I have to say,
Star Wars.
I do kind of enjoy the design of Coruscant here. It reminds me, it's a little bit Tokyo-esque.
Mm-hmm.
It's hyper Tokyo with
it's like Tokyo on cocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
Episode 1 was Star Wars on cocaine. This is also Star Wars on cocaine.
So is this the capital?
Yeah, this is Coruscant. This is the capital planet. And again, the first Episode 1 was sort of the previous movies on cocaine. This one is this is Coruscant on cocaine, and that you saw Coruscant in the first movie, but you didn't really get a good sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting a really good sense of it, of how big and vast and sort of crazy it is. And it is really I hope that we see it again in the new movies coming up here. You folks in internet land may already have seen it, so let us know in the comments because we don't plan on seeing it. Alex may actually not be planning on seeing it. So we'll do a commentary on Force Awakens when it comes to video.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Has to happen.
Or in the movie theater if you don't mind getting kicked out.
We just bring our microphones and our table and all of our equipment and our crew.
Just sit in the theater and talk the whole time. No one's gonna get mad about that, right?
We'll do it opening night at midnight.
Fact checking stuff on your phone with full brightness.
Oh my god! Actually, when we first saw this, we were marveling at how good it looked because it was HD projection, which was new. I mean, HD projection everywhere is HD projection now, and like digital projection. But back then, it was like a new thing, and I remember we were marveling so much that like people next to us were like complaining because we were like, "Whoa. You shut up!" And we were like, "Shut up! We're watching it. So this is gonna be good." I was like, yeah, no, it's gonna be, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no,
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 yeah, no. You ever do that? You just sort of like, you can sort of passive aggressively say no to something.
I agree that you disagree.
No, it's not gonna be, no, yeah, no, but yeah, no. Look at that. He just catches it, and then it doesn't fly out of for some reason, it doesn't. It makes no sense that it would just fly right out.
Is there a factory that makes those things? Can't they just like buy another one?
No, they make them themselves.
Yeah, they have to make their own lightsabers, and they have to select the crystal, and there's a whole
like you kind of get a lightsaber when you're I think a youngling, and then when
God,
you become,
I hate that term.
When you become like a Jedi, that's like one of the last things for sort of becoming a full Jedi is building this lightsaber. There's a deleted scene for Return of the Jedi, which features like Luke Skywalker putting it together. It's very dangerous. If you put it all together with the Force, and then if you don't do it right, you can blow up and kill you. So, it's a very, and the red crystal is the most powerful, and then,
but also less stable.
Less stable, yeah.
Which is why you see a lot of villains using the red sabers.
Yeah. So do they have like a green one then?
There's a green one and a blue one, and then the purple one for Sam Jackson because he's awesome.
And he insisted, like, I want a purple lightsaber. And they're like, okay, we'll figure out a way to retcon that in.
Yeah. There are, these films get a lot of flack for not having a lot of practical sets. There are a lot of practical sets. I think the problem is there's so much CG around it that you forget.
Yep.
Because I've seen I've seen YouTube videos of people like talking about how like, oh no, there's a lot of practical sets. Here's all the and it's like, yeah, there's a ton, but like this is a great shot because it's all probably mostly not like computer generated stuff. But then like cuts to like the wide shot and there's just like fucking CG shit everywhere, and you kind of forget that you're on a set.
Yep.
In Padme's sort of palace room or whatever, that room was a fine example of that. Where like, yeah, you're in a practical room. But there's so much all the screens and crap everywhere. Just like I like how there's a lot of fun cameos here. There's a girl like in the thong right there, which is risque for Star Wars. A little football on the TV. There's the pod racer game, which is pretty funny. We'll be playing that on Play It Smash It. It's actually a good game, but we're going to smash it anyway.
So there was a great video that I saw just a few days ago that was a kind of a mashup of a whole ton of club scenes from different movies called Hell's Club, and it's phenomenal. There's some from this that shows up in it.
Yep.
And
we're checking out if you haven't seen Hell's Club, folks.
So incredibly well
Ahmed
done.
Best was Jar Jar right there, the guy at the bar with the girls. Yeah, that's an amazing video. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah. So I got like there's a history of things with silly names in Star Wars, but fucking death sticks. Come, I mean, okay, drugs are bad, okay, but if you're trying to get someone hooked on a drug, are you going to call it death sticks? Like, I know there are a lot of addictive drugs that end up with people dead. They're not called take this and it'll kill you.
Yeah. Cocaine is called cocaine, not the sorcerer of death in your brain.
Nosebleeds and speeding tickets.
Yeah. Heroin is not called that scene from Pulp Fiction where Uma Thurman bleeds blood all everywhere. Oh, there's Ahmed Best again, and we also saw the guy who plays C-3PO, Anthony Daniels.
Yeah, nice. Moaning and grunting is what the subtitles just describe that as. If
you haven't listened to one of our commentaries, we listen to them silently, and we have subtitles on, so there's always R2-D2's humor is entirely lost.
Yeah. It's like the we were talking in the last
beeps
commentary
and boops,
we did,
and that's it.
That to be the guy that gets to write R2-D2's subtitles either has to be the easiest or the hardest job. Because at least in that, and it was episode 4 that we were watching, all of the nuance was completely. Oh, that was what was in Playboy. Oh man,
yeah,
that's I wouldn't pay for that issue.
This might have been the era where I had a subscription to Playboy. Because I got a subscription.
Did one of your high school teachers buy it for you?
Telling you how to Mac on your substitute teachers and Best Buy patrons?
No, yeah. There was like a deal of $10. I think my dad and I both I think I got it for my dad or something as a joke. And then I said to him, actually, my parents got really into it because they hide like a Playboy bunny on I think the cover somewhere. And my parents loved getting it because they would both my mom and my dad would be looking for the Playboy bunny on the cover.
So it was like a hidden picture search for them.
Yeah. I like when magazines do that kind of hide stuff in there. This movie hides a lot in it, but it hides way too much.
I don't know a whole lot of the Easter eggs in this one.
Well, that's Yoda. That's a little.
Oh, sweet! That's
little Easter egg for
throwback
you.
to episode 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well,
this is episode 2.
Episode 5 and 6, the second and third
episodes.
Yes,
5, 6. It's weird that he's not in episode 4.
I mean, in retrospect, yeah, it is kind of, except that he wouldn't have really fit in the plot of that at that point. He's being a reclusive old fart on a swamp planet.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before. I think I maybe mentioned it in one of our other commentaries. I love the idea of thinking of them as stage plays, and that in this event, the whole thing is being one big long stage play, and Yoda is just behind stage for an entire movie. Just kind of a cool idea. He's just backstage, waiting to come out again, and the audience is getting apprehensive because they haven't seen him for a whole movie.
So yeah, I mean, I guess if you watch them in chronological order, there's only one film out so far that he doesn't show up in. Mm-hmm. So it's you see him in episode 1, 2, 3. Where's Yoda?
It also drives me nuts that Star Wars. I should have mentioned this when we recorded our commentary for that. I should have mentioned that. It drives me nuts that the Empire theme is not played in A New Hope. I of all the things to change in this special edition, I probably would have thrown it in just a couple cues here and there, just to what is this? Yoda's lazy fucker.
Yeah, I know. Especially because you see him actually fight later, and that he's got some moves. But just with this, he's like, no, I'm going to sit like a Buddha and float around.
This is. I actually think there is a decent amount of set there, but it's all just so CG'd you can't really tell.
Yeah, there's so much extra background, extending out into forever, and it's the same thing with this. A decent amount of this is probably actual sets, but when you have the windows that are just
all CG,
oh yeah, and you
lose it.
Yeah,
you lose spatial awareness in a way, this is another funny thing. I think the Plinkett reviews, if you haven't seen the Plinkett reviews, check them out. Plinkett reviews of episodes 1, 2, and 3. He points out a lot of this film in particular is really notorious for characters walking a small amount of distance, having a conversation while the camera remains stationary, stopping, moving over, and then you're going to see Anakin's going to walk over toward the glass at some point and look out. And this is a common thing you'll see where characters talk for a little bit, stop, and then continue to walk. They just did it in the last scene. They were talking or walking down the hallway, and then they stopped, and then they kept going. And now he's walking over to the glass. There's so many just moments of sort of kind of tragically flat direction. There's elements that are really cool in here. I like this, but he's playing around with the Force, and it sort of shows a renegade nature to who he is, and but God, he comes off creepy as hell in this scene.
And we have the continued pattern of ridiculous hairstyles that you got to try to top the cinnamon buns from episode 4. So
yeah,
there's a precedent for it in the Star Wars universe. So I don't even know what to describe these as. Mouse ears, baby elephant.
Yeah, elephant ears.
Call that the baby elephant.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're so ridiculous. It's like a candy, like a wrapped up
candy. Yes. I'll call it the saltwater taffy.
It's the saltwater taffy, dude.
Then the thing is, the more you look at it, the more ridiculous it appears.
Yeah. You said it yourself. And she's like, please don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like you have a boner. That's what she's saying.
Acknowledging, like, Anakin, you've been creepy staring the whole...
That is fucking creepy. That look is creepy as hell.
That's exactly what she's talking about. Like,
that's
dude,
not a good look.
Yeah. Don't look at anybody like that.
No, you don't want to be looking at anybody.
Except, like, maybe your teacher, if you're, like, 16 and she's 21, then that's, that's cool.
We were 18 and she was, like, 22. I was 18. It was legal, kind of. It wasn't legal by, like,
that lady who comes into Best Buy when you're...
Schoolhouse rules. Man, what's this? Now she's the son. Rose Byrne, who looks exactly the same. Like, this is like 15 years ago, and she still looks the same.
Yep.
He's rocking the mullet.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. It's like in this
for some reason
he's got the perfectly coiffed hockey hair going here. Like, it really is. Like, there's just something about the volume to it. It's it looks like he's spent a little bit of time just like perfectly coiffing that, so that it's got that nice little rise up top and looks.
You know how they use the Force to do that. He just sits there with his hands up and he's like moving it around and just shaping it.
Hard on the left, you will.
Yeah, they see characters just walking. And I'm surprised they don't stop and talk for a minute and then keep walking. There's a lot of that in this movie. I think it's because the sets are all very flat. They're flat surfaces. There's no levels to them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it'd be much more dynamic if they were going upstairs or like had to climb through things or whatever. Like, you just
step over a hut's tail, something like that.
Bypass like a gate or something. Like, give them a little more action to do. Mm-hmm. This actually reminds me a lot of the diner in Spider-Man that like Mary Jane works in. There's the Sebulba guy again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, this character. So this movie like tries to be like a murder mystery, like a whodunit. Which, kudos to George Lucas for once again playing around with formula and doing something a little bit different.
Taking some of the film noir tropes a little bit and playing with those.
You can really see his love of film noir here.
Oh yeah,
it was really
just
clear.
the diner design in general. It's
I
that classic.
I don't want food by that guy. I don't want to get food prepared. Like, the guy looks gross.
He just looks like he spends all of his time like scratching his butt with at least two of his hands.
If this were a horror film, that would be the guy who is sexually harassing the waitress who gets killed by Jason. And he's got a Tom Selleck mustache.
I was gonna say, for a hairless creature, why does he only have like lip hair?
Yeah, that's the only spot he gets is the creeper stash.
It's glue. He glued it on. It isn't glue, but he glued it. Look at that thing. Yeah, I don't think maybe in the Clone Wars you see this guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he just looks like he smells really bad.
Yeah, he looks like he smells like a 3-day-old fart. You walk back and you look, oh god, that guy smells like a gym locker shit.
Oh wait, he's got dreadlocks or something too.
Oh yeah, does he have?
No, that's his penis. He's an alien. It's just out.
Well, I got my dick bundles back here.
My dick bundle. Oh, we got the parsecs. Gotta drop that parsecs. There's the Sebulba guy randomly walking. God, there's so much stuff going on in that background.
Yeah, it's just...
like, look at that person in the background with like the crazy hair and like the boobs out and stuff. That's crazy.
I missed the boobs out. Let's cut back to that.
Wish we could rewind, but we can't. Such is recording an audio commentary.
Absolutely.
You can't go back.
The more I look at that mustache, the just creepier it gets.
Oh, I know. It's disturbing. I do like this. This is a cool set.
It's another interesting aspect of, nowadays, if we look into the far future, the idea of a library like this seems really kind of quaint. Now, I know, of course, this is a long time ago, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But it's futuristic. Having, like, high shelves that you're certainly going to need a ladder to get to of what is presumably digital information seems odd.
Uh-huh. It's pretty to look at, but it's very, going on when we talked about Episode 1, having the same themes and ideas of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is a very Star Trek: The Next Generation set.
Absolutely.
This looks like actually there's a old original series episode where there is like a memory archive like this. They go to a planet. That was a memory archive that's almost similar to this. I really think that there was a lot of influence of Star Trek on the prequel trilogy. He must have been watching it and taking notes and and that that leads to a weird sort of thing because Star Trek and Star Wars are very different things. I know they always get compared, and I'm like, they're different. They're completely different.
There was just another example of droidism right there. Like, it's like, hey, no droids, get out. Like, why is that a thing? Like, is there a distrust of droids? Because we saw this in episode 4 as well. Yeah. That so apparently that's not a new thing. Because I had theorized with episode 4 that it might have been because
outskirts of the planets.
Yeah, but we're on Coruscant right now still, right? So.
I think we're on we might be traveling out to the outskirts because they are going to Tatooine.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we'd actually.
I don't really understand why love is forgiven. Or unforgiven, rather. Yeah. What the hell am I saying? But I don't understand why love is so forbidden.
Forbidden.
That's the word
I was like, what?
That was the chili talking, ladies and gentlemen.
Love is patient, love is kind. What? Love is forbidden?
That's not the form I thought the chili would speak. I was expecting a different language.
It's fortunately been silent in its first language.
Silent but deadly. I never really understood like they turned them into priests in this movie where like they can't get married, and which just seemed like a plot convention that was pulled out of Lucas's cliche-o-matic hat. He just sort of pulls out random cliches that he can bring to the surface, and in this one it's just sort of like they can't get married because later on that's going to be a forbidden love and the whole story's about forbidden love, blah. And you're like, what? No. God, this scene. Younglings, the lowest point.
The younglings.
It's alright, Anakin kills them in the sequel, which is also really fucked up. So like, can't the younglings just escape? Like they just don't become Jedis because he doesn't have to kill you.
That's the thing is, George Lucas seemed in these movies really, really hard to be trying to appeal to a younger audience, and then he goes and fucking kills all the children.
Yeah.
Granted, it's off camera, but still.
Oh my goodness, the music here is really nice from John Williams. Yoda, I think the track is like Yoda and the Younglings or something, which is one of the better tracks in the.
And I really do like a lot band.
Yoda and the Younglings.
Yoda and the Younglings.
It's like a 50s doo-wop. The score in this is, again, John Williams always delivers. John Williams must like watch these films and be like, well, that wasn't very good, but I'll write some good themes and it'll be good. Because his love theme, I think, is really good in this. I think the Yoda themes are sort of brought back to life in this one. It's good. It's has a lot of good music to it. It is classic in its own way. The film is also classic in its own way, but memorable for being as interesting as paint drying at times. Sorry for anybody I know there's probably people who love this movie. Not to offend you people. If you love the movie, that's actually fantastic. People always like to think like when somebody else doesn't like when somebody else doesn't like something that you want, the person who doesn't like it wants other people to not like it too, which is not true. I'd say a good 80% of the time, if you like a movie, that's great. Yeah. If you like it more than I do, that's awesome.
80% of the time.
20% of the time, it's just like, really? Seriously? You fucking like this movie?
By liking that, you're encouraging
what the hell is wrong with you?
Seriously. You need to reconsider your life decisions.
I've always said, every movie is someone's favorite movie. And, always remember.
Even I Know Who Killed Me?
I love I Know Who Killed Me. Not for the right reasons, but I love it. I'm probably the person who loves that movie. Not that it's good. It's a fucking horrible movie. But, there's always...
That's one worth doing a commentary on.
We'll get to it. There's so many commentaries we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we need to. We mention at least every commentary we do. There's at least two
at least
movies
like 10 movies
that we. Yeah, there's at least a couple that we mention in the commentary that we should do. Are we making a list of these? Well, let me rephrase. Are you making a list?
I do have a list.
Okay. Excellent.
When I edit these down, I usually write down
perfect
the ones that we mentioned. Try to remember them in my head. But
glad somebody's on that.
If I say like Masters of the Universe is on Netflix, I'm just like, I want to do a commentary for Masters of the Universe. Hackers is on there. We were talking about.
Oh god,
I just watched that the other day.
I love that movie because it's like a science fiction film set in the hyper 90s. It's my description of it. Ooh, if you heard a bump, that was me kicking the table with my knee.
He got so excited about Hackers.
It's bleeding profusely, and I'm going to need stitches. So, if you're angry about the bump, just know that I'm nearly dead.
But, we'll wait until after the movie to get stitches. Cause...
Yeah, I'm just going to bleed out over here. Alex is wrapping a tourniquet around my leg right now.
We've armor-alled, we've scotch-guarded all the carpet. It's totally fine.
Totally fine. This is back on Naboo, I believe. And
more politics.
More just sitting around. So in the last scene, characters sat around and talked. In the previous scene before that, characters sat and talked. In the previous scene before that, they also were sitting and talking. A lot of sitting and talking in this movie.
Yep.
A lot of sitting and talking.
Occasional walking and talking, which is what we have now.
This and I think The Matrix... Didn't The Matrix Reloaded open around the same time as this? Or very near it. I believe it was 2002 when The Matrix Reloaded. I mean, The Matrix Reloaded probably had a trailer, but The Matrix Reloaded is also notorious for just sitting and talking.
Yeah, I recall that film being quite boring, and the CG being quite terrible in quite a few cases.
Yeah.
I said quite like 5 times in that sentence.
You did. You said it quite a bit.
I said it quite a lot. I did.
That's what the last commentary did. I just kept saying y'all.
Y'all.
I couldn't stop saying y'all. Sometimes you get words that get stuck in your head, and you're just sort of like... Oh, why do I keep saying that? Why do I keep saying this one word?
It's like that Smash Mouth song that I haven't been able to get rid of.
Yeah. Oh, some songs just get stuck in your head.
And it's not even a song that was ever released. It's the worst part.
Oh, it's the worst.
It doesn't even really exist.
Only in your mind. That water looks very CG. This is Kamino, which is just a water planet with apparently nothing on it other than this.
We were talking about this during the last commentary we did, the one for episode 4, about how the Star Wars universe
if we're releasing these in order, they don't know that we've done that commentary.
That's true, but it's going to happen eventually.
I totally think that we're going to talk about this.
This is something that we will talk about
in the future.
We get around
we're going to talk about
watching episode 4. But there's a rash of planets.
I suspect I won't be joining you for that one.
Though you will be in the room.
Yeah. You might be in the room and occasionally like yelling things out in the background. I believe a Wookiee noise will make an appearance.
My Jedi powers to predict the future. Yeah, we were talking about the lack of...
there's a rash of planets that only have one terrain type. So this is a planet that's nothing but water and rain and this base that happens to be there apparently. And just like how Kashyyyk is nothing but a forest planet, same as Endor is. And how Tatooine is desert, the entire planet is desert. And this is coming from a species that we live on a planet that has every single one of those terrain types in it. And we've never been to another habitable planet.
Spoon seats.
That makes me want some hot and sour soup. That's a good like Chinese soup spoon right there.
Yeah, the planets lack diversity outside of like the one characteristic. It's wet, and these are the aliens that live there.
Yeah, I mean it's an easy plot device. Like we're going to the snow planet, the ice planet of Hoth, or the desert planet. But
these to sidebar, these are probably my favorite aliens of the prequels because I think they look really cool.
Oh yeah.
They also remind me a lot of the aliens, the robot aliens from Artificial Intelligence.
I was. They look as soon as you
similar.
said that, I was like, wait a second, that's like the ones from AI at the end.
Yeah. The not aliens, but evolved robots, I guess, is what they are. All of a sudden, I got really worried I was having a bloody nose.
It's your knee that's bleeding profusely.
A hell of a bowl of chili.
It makes me forgetful. It makes my nose bleed. Makes me jittery. And blame it all on the chili.
Oh, they have like horse feet. Look at that. Look at their feet. They're like horse feet.
Oh, weird. I mean, it's a cool character design. It is.
To be like clocking along. Oh my god. The like Venice romantic vacation. This was so bad they shot a first version, and it was bad, and so they had to shoot a second version of their love story because it was so flat because George Lucas just didn't know how to do a romance story.
Yet learned love.
I was gonna say, I assume it was the acting that was just like dead flat, and
it didn't really work. Although I think I've seen fan edits that combine both of them, deleting certain scenes from both versions and then sort of combining like a mash of both. I think, which actually would have been the best way to do it. But he was trying to tell a different kind of romance story with this one. Empire Strikes Back has sort of the Leia Han romance story, which works because it plays on a lot of like classic sort of film noir romance cliches of like they don't like each other,
right,
but then they kind of really do, and like while it's a bit generic, it works very well.
Mm-hmm.
It works well because the actors who play it are fantastic. Here you have more of a 20s 30s sort of, maybe not 20s, but like you have a very decadent musically style romance where it's a bit overblown and just has a different sort of it casts a much different shadow than the original one, and
it's a lot more My Fair Lady than Casablanca.
That's nailed it.
Yes, I got one.
Nailed it. It works more without any music or dialogue. Like it actually worked visually more than it actually works on screen. I do really like when they kiss and they stop kissing. John Williams like cuts the music off, which I thought was a fun little fourth wall moment. I'm pretty sure if the head of the Republican Party came to Barack Obama and said, "All right, Obama, we need to take you to this facility where we've been making clones for the past 8 years." Barack Obama's gonna be like, "Well, this is the problem. We're gonna have to take care of it, and so shut this down immediately."
All of a sudden discovering like, wait a second, you've been secretly making an army of clones.
Like, it's so fucked up when you think about it.
Like, that's not cool.
That's so not cool. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing that Obi-Wan is kind of okay with it. Mm-hmm. It's weird that they end up using them. There's the Enterprise or the Voyager ship.
From Voyager. It looks like Voyager right there.
Yeah, I've always thought it looked like Voyager. Yeah.
Yep.
Wonder if Kess is on there, flashing a bunch of teenage boys,
naked and yelling.
She's over at the neighbor's house, naked and yelling. Right. I
believe her name is Jennifer Lean. Jennifer Lean, get better, get well.
Yeah. Because at least in the role of Kess, there's still a very special place in my heart for her.
Yeah. I was into her when I was a kid. You can read into that however you want.
She's probably listening and be like, "I'm fine, you nerds. It's the world that's wrong.
Don't make me wear clothes."
What's amazing about that story is like the cops like ended up fighting with her, and then like they had to bring her to the jail like nude because she refused to put on clothing. I'm like, what the hell? But no, that's mental illness at its very worst. So that's very sad.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
It's sad. It's funny like as a caricature, but in reality, it's very.
Sad. I mean, it's easy to joke about, but in truth, it's pretty much not cool, and I feel somewhat bad about making jokes about it. So seriously, get better.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I agree. Somber moment during this. As we were like, we've been making fun of it, and then we're like, oh, I feel really bad about it. We're such assholes right now. What are we doing? Yeah, it's rough. Both chuckle.
Both chuckle.
That's what it said on.
That was probably what it actually said in the script too. Both chuckle.
And then they were both like, I don't know how to chuckle. I don't know what he
like. Means. What is a chuckle? Can you show us a chuckle?
This is where 4K would work a lot better with this grass, because I bet when you see this on a 4K TV, the 2K is going to really
It looks just kind of mushy in the background.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be pixels and all kinds of stuff. It's just not going to come out right.
See, now if we're going back into commentary on Amidala's hair, this almost feels like it's a proto version of the cinnamon buns, because you got the two, like, they're sort of held back in nets, or held in nets, with like a little bit of a flower child thing thrown in. Like, this is very hippie-ish look right now.
We're much too frightened to tease a senator. Hayden Christensen. The hills are alive with the sound of walking shits. What are these things?
Oh wow, those are...
No, you don't want to ride that.
What the hell is that?
Peter Jackson was like, I have an idea for Legolas. Oh god, he died.
You just got crushed.
Hayden Christensen is an actor who's his career has sort of faded a little bit. I don't know how I feel about Hayden Christensen. I've seen him in good movies where I like him. I've seen him in movies where I don't like him. I don't know. I don't know who I would have cast in this role.
Who's age appropriate?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember anybody.
I was gonna say, like, if we were talking about who, if this movie were made now, who would be cast, or if we're talking about someone that was...
Okay, if you were to cast it now, who would you cast? It looks like the Starfleet headquarters.
Oh yeah,
you know, if you were to stack them.
Absolutely.
So who
one of the like the bases, the orbital bases that they have, or things like that as well. Yeah. Let me think about that for a second.
Alex, any ideas? Who would you cast? It could be anybody. You could say yourself.
Me.
I'd be shy.
I don't know enough actors.
Okay. Well,
to do that. So I only know like 3 actors, so I would say of those 3, Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone's a rock solid choice.
You know, actually,
he came up in episode 1 commentary too. I mentioned that he was like one of the CG characters.
You know, I think actually the kid from Kingsman. I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
But I think the kid from Kingsman could do really well, and he's got a British accent too, which could be, you know, he was mostly raised by this dude right here, so that could make sense. A little bit of the accent bled into it, because he left Tatooine when he was how old? Like 7 or 8. How old was he in the last movie?
He was like 10.
He was like 10. Okay. But I mean, you know, you hang out with someone for 8 years, and you know that's your main companion. You're gonna end up picking up.
You're gonna have a little tinge of a British accent.
I think so. I think that could. Taron Egerton, I believe, is his name.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's got some fun attitude. I think he did quite a few of his own stunts, and he's got like some cool like parkour moves going on that could have played well into the Jedi thing. So I think he could have done pretty well.
Right. I'm gonna go Taylor Lautner with blonde hair.
All right, I can see that. I can see that.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna guess if it was done nowadays, I'm gonna go with probably Liam Hemsworth is who they pick.
Okay, I could see that
because he's a Hemsworth, and I think he kind of embodies a lot of the same qualities. As what Lucas went with, but is arguably a slightly better actor. No offense to Hayden Christensen, you have gotten a very short end of the stick. You're really good in Jumper. I liked you in Jumper.
The guy who played Steve Urkel. What's his name?
Michael Jaleel White.
Yeah. I also think I know him primarily from a show called The Tomorrow People, but I think Luke Mitchell could have done a really good job as well.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
So, and he's Australian, so again, that little bit of the accent could have worked out all right.
In this era, I don't know. I mean, the pickings were slim. You know, like Macaulay Culkin. And, like, that's fucking it. There's probably a ton of people from this era I'm just not thinking, but I mean, my God, I mean, you know, just you know, around the same time you got Orlando Bloom showing up. Orlando Bloom would have been a better option.
Oh, Orlando Bloom would have been great in there. He would have been around the right age.
Yeah, he would have been around the right age.
Oh, that would have been a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of people that could have played him. He's fine. I like how she gets progressively. I hate to say the word, but progressively sluttier as the film goes on. Like now she's like in straight up S&M gear.
Oh yeah.
Like she's got the collar thing. It's like a leather outfit. Her boobs are showing. And the more and more he's like leaning into her, and he's getting more and more like he like wants her, and she's just sort of like she's dressing like wearing less clothing. And then she's just sort of like this is all presumably one day, so she's changed her outfit like 4 times.
These are my pajamas. What are you talking about?
The closer I get to you, the worse it gets. Well, I could see why it's getting worse. Look at her.
Oh yeah.
Obviously that's supposed to be a little symbolic of like the sexual tension, whatever you. But
he's wearing the exact same thing the whole time. He's still wearing his like Jedi leather and burlap look. It's very in this season.
My heart is beating. Oh my God! It just gets. You are in my very soul. So when you go home, you can get into bed with Haley, you can be like, you are in my very soul.
Did you feed the cats? Because you are in my very soul.
Pretty sure if I said that, it would get a, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you being so weirdly...
And why are you staring at me so creepy?
Being like fake, you're being like fake spear. What's going on here?
Fake spear.
That's a good term for what we're seeing right now.
No, that's exactly it. This is, it's that overly dramatic, romantic love to the extreme.
You live in a real world. Come back to it. That's the outfit you wear in the real world. That's an outfit you wear to a swing club.
That said, don't stop wearing it. Like,
no, keep wearing it.
It's cool.
Keep wearing it. If you want to take any of it off, I'm not gonna complain. Natalie Portman.
So I totally just realized that the italic text is meaning someone is saying that off the screen.
Yeah.
I think my understanding of the previous movies would have been enhanced. Knowing that.
So here's a lesson in how to read subtitles.
When they hover over the actor, that is meant to be them speaking, and subtitles either it means emphasis or sort of italicized tends to either mean like off screen or they're emphasizing something or saying it in a certain way.
And if it's in brackets, that's usually a sound effect. Yeah. Like if you see beep boop, it doesn't mean
beep,
that
boop.
Someone on screen actually said that. It's usually R2 making noises.
You're right.
It's like if mouth isn't moving, it's the worst movie ever. Oh,
Anakin, he looks so pissy. Justin Bieber could pull it off. Everyone in the comments is probably just like, what? No, Justin Bieber would have nothing to do with Star Wars. One day I posted Zac Efron actually appears in Firefly.
Okay.
He plays young Simon Tam.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I caught that.
He's like 14. He was like he wasn't anybody. It wasn't High School Music or anything. And I remember posting it. I had one friend who was just like, who kind of did like a sort of, who kind of made that kind of comment like, oh, don't ruin Serenity and Firefly for me. And I'm just sort of like, whatever.
Like, I mean, he's an actor. He's an actor.
He's cool. I think he's cool. I think he's funny.
Was fine. Honestly, having watched some of he was the High School Musical guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having watched a couple of those, they're fun, stupid movies.
They're proto-Glee.
Yeah, exactly. If Glee would not exist if High School Musical hadn't existed, and
Glee was probably a hit because the people who watched grew up with High School Musical.
The pump was primed from High School Musical being there,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm fine with Zac Efron. I don't think he's the greatest actor ever, but him being in something doesn't soil its memory for me.
Well, we're going to bring it back. Okay, Zac Efron, High School Musical, Disney owns Star Wars Episode VII. Now we're back. Boom. This brought us back.
On topic.
Circle of life. You think somebody would fix the frequency modulation? Because these things always like flicker and...
Yeah, it's,
like,
the fact
like an RF thing on the bottom. Dial we can turn to fix it.
They have all this crazy technology and they can't manage to get the refresh rate right on their holograms. Like, seriously.
It's like, we can make them 3D, but anything beyond blue.
Anything beyond blue, it's going to look like you're watching it on an old TV. UHF channel or something.
Oh yeah. Gotta adjust the rabbit ears to make it come in clear.
Well, the Dark Lord should probably not know that your ability to use the Force is weakened. If you ever wanted to see Hayden Christensen's nipples, here you go. There you are, ladies.
Well,
only one of them.
There's one nipple. Does the other one make an appearance?
God.
Nipple number 2?
No nipple.
You just get a corner of the heaving bosom.
Padme is sucking him off right now. Because he's like, oh. No, he's dreaming about his mommy.
And he just came.
This was one of those shots they had in the trailer. It was really like ominous because you don't really know what's going on. You just know he's in deep in thought. Little did we know that it was a really contrived, kind of forced plot element, which is meant to mirror the plot element of Empire Strikes Back, of him, seeing Leia and Han in trouble and then coming and helping, but, presence is soothing. She's like, yeah, but you're standing in your cloud of your own fart. So I'm going to leave because it smells terrible. It smells like a moldy football. I don't like it.
So, At this point,
vagina incense.
Vagina incense. That's a reference to an episode
of Whatnots.
Of Whatnots.
Yeah, check it out. Check out Whatnots. Permanently Geek.
You can find Whatnots on
plug it
on this channel.
Probably like, oh, stop plugging your shows, man.
But
I know.
We're in them.
Yeah, we're in them. We are the stars of Permanently Geek.
We are the stars here.
We are the stars of Permanently Geek.
So generally, at this point in a movie, I feel like you should have a sense of where it's headed, what the general conflict is going to be, where the tension is building from.
They've mentioned Count Dooku. We haven't even seen him yet.
Yeah. So
they put him in the title, but then they don't or not the title, but they put him in the opening crawl, but you don't know who he is.
Right. Within the first 20 minutes of the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4. In the first 20 minutes, you have people getting choked with someone's mind. You have entire planets getting destroyed. You have ultimate evil established. In this one, it's so there's a guy that's mentioned in the opening crawl. You don't need to see him. Yeah, you don't need to know what he actually does. He's mysterious. We told you he's mysterious.
Darth Vader is right there in the beginning of Episode 4. Episode 5, Darth Vader shows up pretty quickly. Episode 6, Darth Vader shows up pretty quickly. Here, the villains are almost always a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Count Dooku is front and center in the beginning of Episode 3, but then dispatched immediately.
Right.
And then the villain doesn't reveal himself until the third act.
Yep.
Each movie, the villain... There's always the dropped their lightsaber shot. We're going to see where it falls. There again. You always get to see where the lightsaber went. It's really important. I'm sure somebody must have criticized him at one point for not showing where the lightsaber went. So then on out,
he always shows where it went.
There's
the lightsaber. Found it.
Episode 5 were shot now. There'd be a very significant scene where we get to see where when Luke drops his lightsaber, where it went. That's now a plot point in Force Awakens. I'll save you. Can we point out how weird it is that Jango Fett has a clone of himself that he's raising as his son? How fucked up that is?
Yeah, that's what we get to learn about Boba. He's actually a clone baby.
He's a clone baby. I hope the actor who plays Jango Fett and all the clones gets to play Boba Fett. If we see, and then I think we're gonna do a Boba. They're gonna do a Boba Fett movie. I work for fucking Disney.
I'm going to make a Boba Fett movie.
I would like Disney if you're listening, and I know you probably fucking are. I'd do a Boba Fett movie. Our lawyers are listening to us and what the fuck is wrong with these people? No, if they do a Boba Fett movie, I think it'd be cool to see that actor reprise the role. I'm curious to see if we'll see Boba Fett in any of the future films, either Episode 7 or beyond. Because many speculate that he's not dead, but we'll see.
I mean, see, the thing is, he ended up in the Sarlacc pit, but he's got a fucking jetpack.
Yeah.
It seems entirely possible that, he's like, all right, I'll just wait till these guys leave, and then fly the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like it takes 1,000 years to get digested. That's what they said, right? Like over the course,
like 1,000 years or 10,000 years, something.
Yeah, thousands of years to get digested in the Sarlacc pit. So you know that there aren't fast acting like stomach juices that are going to tear him apart.
I just seeing Boba Fett with like antacid tablets, and he just throws them down there, and the Sarlacc spits him back out, and then it's like, "Thank you."
But no, I think it's
now I can digest.
Entirely believable that he just hung out there and like, all right, cool, it's time for me to fly the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
that's my theory at least. The physics of that don't really work for me because unless those are super dense counterweights on the front, it doesn't make sense.
They are space weights.
Space weights.
Oh, it's Watto. Everybody loves Watto. Remember your favorite
episode caricature.
It's not like awful. It's just sort of it is it's kind of like, actually it reminds me a lot of Avengers Age of Ultron. In that it is kind of somewhat inconsequential to what the bigger picture. It's a movie that is necessary, but at the same time inconsequential. Everybody's like, I love Avengers Age of Ultron. Saw it twice. Second time, it didn't really do a whole lot for me the first time. Second time, it really didn't do a lot for me. It was like, no, I'm disappointed in this film. We'll do a commentary on that maybe.
All right.
Maybe when it comes to Blu-ray.
I'd be down for doing commentaries on most of the Marvel films.
Yeah. God, we have so many commentaries.
I know. You
guys just want to live here and we'll just do commentaries like every day.
We got like a year-long queue already.
Oh my god,
like,
there's so many commentaries. Natalie Portman's in the background being like, this movie's almost over.
God, am I still in this movie?
It's gonna be over soon.
Is it still going? How much more movie do I have to be in?
Moisture farmer?
Yeah,
Hell's a moisture farmer.
Funny you should ask that. In the future, we're going to do a commentary for episode 4. You won't be a part of it. We will talk about moisture farming. And
you'll make a Wookiee noise towards the end.
Oh.
We were trying to figure out what the fuck moisture farmers do. But basically, they're on a desert planet. So the commodity is water.
And so they harvest water from
the core.
Yeah, that's what I presume, and pulling any that's in the air from there as well, because they're the collectors. So presumably it's a combination of.
It's kind of clever in that I think George Lucas was trying to pick the most boring, like
right,
the most boring thing that someone could do on a desert planet is just get water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that's not a fun job,
because they were setting it up as Luke Skywalker is this. This farm boy who like hates his life off in this nothing planet, and so the kind of farming that they did was moisture farming.
Yeah. I think they're doing moisture farming at the beginning of Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. I think that's what the guy's doing. He's like drilling holes into the. We'll get to those too.
So many movies.
So many movies. There's like 100 of them.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to watch movies that I haven't seen for a while, though.
Yeah.
I pay and when doing commentaries like this, I both pay a lot more attention and a lot less.
Yeah,
because,
that's true.
I'm paying attention so I can try to make at least slightly insightful comments, and then I get to talking about things and completely stop watching the movie while talking about them.
This was a really neat scene. I think the CG is not quite as good anymore as it used to be, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, like this stuff looks really.
Yeah, the texture on the rocks looks it just looks a lot faker now.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're doing a little bit of a callback to the asteroid belt scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was that Empire Strikes Back?
Empire. Yeah, this movie gets a little. This movie gets a little too referencey to the other one, which is. Like, I think he felt like if he copied all the scenes from Empire, and did them slightly differently, like, people would like it. But, people were immediately sort of like, well, yeah, but that's a cool shot. That's an iconic shot.
Yeah. I've always sort of thought that Boba / Jango's ship kind of looked like a street lamp. Just hook that up to a lamppost and you're good to go. I don't know if I'm the only one that's had that impression. But...
You just turn it on its side. And
exactly. It's like...
Yeah. It's a weird ship. If you're hearing the chair right here, folks, my chair is getting...
Squeaking it up.
The WD-48 or something. These chairs are really old.
Lubricate that shit before the next commentary.
These chairs are old. They're older than I am. Yours isn't, Alex.
I was gonna say, this is a solid piece of furniture right here.
Don't you know it? Made that with my own hands. Plastic chair. I made it with my own. I forged it in my...
No, it's metal.
It's like aluminum. I forged that too. I found the aluminum in the wild, and
you can tell exactly how much worthwhile stuff there is to talk about at this point in the film, folks. We're discussing the makeup of our chairs.
Oh, they did the hiding thing just like Empire.
Yep, just like Empire.
Just like it. This is another one where you can tell that George Lucas watched a bunch of movies in between episode 1 and episode 2 and then stole from them. Because toward the end of this film, there's a gladiator sequence, which you think why is there a gladiator sequence? Oh, that's right. 2 years before, Gladiator was the biggest film of the year. And so, he throws a random gladiator scene in, which was fun to watch, but every time I see it, I'm just sort of what?
It seems out of place. The very carefully removed midriff from Natalie Portman's outfit. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, really? How hokey can you get to show a little bit of stomach?
Mm-hmm. They were just trying to show off her cute little tummy.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but I'm sure they could have found a way to do that didn't feel like...
It didn't feel like you're watching an exploitation picture.
Right, exactly.
Oh my god, my bra is off and my top is off. I'm thinking of I believe the movie is Galaxy of Terror.
Galaxy of Terror.
Which is an awesome movie if folks ever get to see it. I think we might have talked about it in one of the other commentaries, but Galaxy of Terror, there's a scene where a slug monster this is gonna sound so fucking stupid. There's a scene where a slug monster rapes a woman, and it grabs her top and just rips it straight off in one go. It's sort of that level of exploitation.
Right. But at least that's just straight up honest about what it's doing.
Yeah.
This feels more like a 70s low budget caveman flick where someone time travels back and her outfit catches on the foliage in a jungle and all of a sudden she's down to just her bra. That was the level that it felt there.
Yeah, it's
where it's just lazy. It's fine, at least if you're trying to show a little bit of skin, find a clever, creative way to make it part of the plot and not just, oh, there it goes.
The 80s Tarzan movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the 80s Tarzan movie.
I don't think
that's Joel Edgerton, I believe, who has gone off to be in a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Including Warrior, if you've ever seen Warrior. Warrior is an awesome movie.
I have not.
He was just in something. It's riveting. He was just in something. He directed a movie recently called The Gift, I believe. He stars in it, and Joel Edgerton.
Nice.
Big fan of him. I just saw him in the remake of The Thing, The Great Gatsby he was in. But yeah, The Gift is the movie I think he directed it. He might have even written it.
Very cool.
There, they got the ceiling from episode 4.
Yeah, that's...
In the future, we're going to do a commentary on episode 4, and I have a feeling we're probably going to talk about that ceiling.
I have a hunch that we might discuss that ceiling. And it's, it's a pretty solid duplicate of the way that it will look in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel Edgerton wrote and directed The Gift. I had to look it up.
Okay.
For all you who are just oh my god, I want to know whether he wrote and directed The Gift.
Now you know.
Sorry. And not The Gift with Katie Holmes and her boobies.
Oh.
It's all I can remember about that movie. It's a
different
good
kind
movie.
Of gift.
But yeah, that's a Sam Raimi movie. That was Sam Raimi pre-Spider-Man, I believe. You getting tired over there, Alex?
I'm focused.
Trying to pay attention to this
riveting sitting and talking part of this movie.
Yeah, there's more sitting and
more
talking.
sitting and talking. Now there's one person standing while the other people are talking.
Your mother's dead, son. Accept it. She's like, oh, that sucks.
Like,
I don't really know how to act in this scene, so I'm just gonna close my eyes. Recreating the
the standing and looking out into the distance scene.
And she's got her belly in this. I wonder if she was like, I want to show off my belly.
Be like, I've been working out a lot. Can I show off my stomach a little bit?
Hey, he looks like Darth Vader there. See it?
Yeah. Oh. See, that's why they have the silly little ponytail sprig, is so that in silhouette he can look like he's got the helmet going.
Yeah.
If that's the entire reason for that, choice.
Because he's got the man thing, the man ponytail thing. Or
he's got the Jedi braid thing going.
I mean, like the bun in the back. He's got like the guy. The trend. That's
pony mullet.
Yeah. Something it's trendy now. We're gonna make fun of it in a few more years. Guarantee.
Yep.
You're doing like, remember when we did that? That was stupid. He looks like the kid who's like playing the arcade game and he's like almost ready to beat. Pew, 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 pew. Like he's really into it. Like I remember like in Terminator 2, John Connor when he's playing like Afterburner. Like that's the look on John Connor's face. So he's just like chatting with the Jawa.
Yeah, just hanging out.
The Jawa's like, Wootini! It's all I can say. Wootini! Yup, no. You
know what I bet is in there?
Ewokian.
I bet there's a gonk droid in there and we're just not getting to see it.
Honk.
The walking trash can.
This is cupcakes just smashed together. That's a rock. Oh, Anakin Skywalker. You lonely, lonely child.
I mean, is there a really like strong purpose for why he's hunting for his mom other than
he had a vision that his mom got like killed.
Got it. That's right. So that was the whole scene where he was having the bad dreams and all that, and so now he's okay.
This is
yep.
The set actually, it's weird. I played the Star Trek video game for PS3 that is based on the J.J. Abrams series, and actually there's you go into this place, you fight a bunch of Gorn, and it actually looks a lot like this.
See, I remember when watching this scene in the theaters, my first thought was like, well, this is designed to be a great video game sequence. Like that was my thought in the theaters was, well, that is exactly what this is.
Number one. This was the conveyor belt sequence. Here was the one of two conveyor belt scenes. I think Lucas and Spielberg were kind of competing because there's the one in Minority Report, and then there's this one. It was the same summer. It was really weird to have like conveyor belt scenes.
They were having a belt off.
So there's a clone army and a robot army?
Yes. Count Dooku is kind of playing both sides. It seems as though maybe someone greenlit this clone army many, many years ago. And at the same time, the Separatists from episode 1, the bad guys, have been building like robot armies and all kinds of other sort of robot-y things, with the intention of like a massive, like full-scale, galaxy-wide war. Mm-hmm. All of it is being kind of orchestrated by the Emperor, or well, not the Emperor at this point, but Darth Sidious, using this guy Count Dooku here, Christopher.
So
Lee,
now we've finally seen the villain in this film,
and a very anticlimactic
it's just
reveal.
like here he is sitting at a table negotiating
in a meeting.
Once again, sitting
where he doesn't kill anyone.
Showed you his Outlook calendar first.
That'd be like if like we were watching like Darth Vader as he was just like on Facebook before he comes through and
taking a shit and playing Words with Friends.
Yeah. I want that. He's doing draw something, but he's having a hard time because he can't touch the screen. He's like, oh, I can't draw anything. I'm no good at drawing. This is like here you get to see Shmi Skywalker from episode 1, who is played by the same actress, but she's in it so little and has so little to do that it's sort of like it really bums me out that he just kind of picks her up and she's pretty much dead. Like, it's always bothered me that she's not in the movie nearly enough. Because for me, this would have been the heart of this film.
And you know, when we did the commentary on episode 1, we were talking about how she was so one of the like, as far as acting performances goes, she was one of the only good ones in that movie. Like,
here she's not as good.
Yeah,
and I think that's because there's not as much to do. It just doesn't. I really wish there was more with her in it. I wish the whole film were about him going to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have worked. She just would have been like, yeah, you know, from the very beginning he has the dream, and then he's haunted by the dream the entire film. Instead of it happening in the middle of the movie, it's like in the middle of the movie starts.
Yeah, I mean, set it up with him having bad dreams, like starting out with having bad dreams, and they grow worse and worse.
Yeah.
And then, you know, by halfway through the movie, then it's like, okay, I have to act on these. I've got a strong feeling about it, and then he runs off and does this thing. I think that would be a much, much more compelling plot, as opposed to, like, here's all these action sequences and, you know, all this intrigue about missing planets and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, well, you know, Obi-Wan's going off and checking out that stuff. He starts on the mom quest.
Yeah. And then look at that. She just
done. Blue.
You're right. It does kind of feel like they wrote out a story, and then as the guy was like taking it to the photocopiers, he like dropped the pages. Like, oh no!
Crap! What are we gonna do?
What order did this go in? All right. Chase sequence. And then we'll
right,
some senatorial
every 4
bullshit.
pages I'll have walking down a hallway staring out a window.
Let's group all of these walking and talking scenes together. That was probably the plan. Is that they'd all be really
there's
close
two different kinds of pages of romance subplots. I'll just take one out. Now he's just gonna randomly kill all kinds of people. Here's the weird Liam Neeson saying Anakin, no. But like the Anakin is like very clearly Liam Neeson from like the first movie, and then the no is like somebody else they just got to do his voice, and it just doesn't. It's like Anakin, no. It's like the weirdest sound. God, Yoda looks really CG here.
He
like
does.
Particularly his like outfit,
and his hair too just looks the way it's lit. But yeah, the texture of the outfit is
it matches his skin, like they're the same texture.
He actually, you know, that's the thing is his race makes his species makes their clothes out of their ancestors' skin. That's you can look it up, folks.
He's shedding skin right now.
That's on Wikipedia if you want to look it up.
Wikipedia. It's a Wikia page.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Wikipedia.
Know some good folks who work at Wiki.
Oh yeah, lots of good info on there. You will not find what I just said on Wikipedia. So,
maybe you will. I don't know.
I mean,
to be there,
unless Alex goes home and adds it.
But sometimes I go on like Wikia, because Wikia is is much more in depth than like Wikipedia, and that it's more like nerd centric and
right.
But like one day I like looked up I was looking up like Star Trek or something like that, and I go into like one season, and I'm just like, come on, guys, I don't need a novel about the season. Like, they give you like a play-by-play of every episode. I'm like, okay, all right, I got it. Yeah, sometimes it gets a little in-depth, but it's good. It's a good site. I'm on it probably at least once a day.
Oh, yeah. There's so much good info out there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, surplus of information is not the worst problem to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, more information is better, obviously.
Except when you need to
I have my hands crossed right now, just like him.
We're both good. As do I.
Alex is the only one who's not arm crossed. Oh well. I like to think this is how R2-D2 masturbates. He puts his like thing in there and he just turns it around a bunch. Oh, you'll never see anything the same again. He's like, oh, this feels good. Everybody has floating chairs in this movie. That's how you wrapped up your mom? It's messed up.
One around the neck, one around the knees. It keeps her all tight and contained.
Ooh, the chili's making my stomach growl. Uh-oh. Hopefully that doesn't mean you guys are going to be sitting in the clouds pretty soon.
Oh no.
We'll cut that out of the commentary.
Get that incense thing.
Yeah, let's get that pussy incense from the Whatnots episode. Oh, this scene is creepy as fuck because he's just basically talking about how he murdered people, and she's all like, "Cool, I was just thinking about telling you I wanted you to be my boyfriend, but now I've changed my mind."
Yep. Like, but you don't like it that I killed everybody?
You don't like that?
But they hurt my mom. I killed everybody.
Okay,
that's cool,
fine.
right? That's cool, right?
Yeah, one time there was a lady. I remember my mom parked in a handicap spot because she has handicap stickers. My mom's has some bad hips, and there was a lady who yelled at us. I was maybe in 5th grade or something. There was a lady who yelled at us for parking in the handicap spot because she wanted to park, and she was pissed off. It was one of those just random road rage things. And I remember I got really upset, and we were in it was Kmart. We were in Kmart, and I happened to see the lady at the Kmart, and she saw me, and I saw her, and I said, "Fuck you," and then I walked away from her, and. I didn't cut her head off though. Right. That's
the upshot.
Just to be clear, I didn't go all Anakin Skywalker and cut her head off. I was just like, "Fuck you, my mom's disabled. Shut up." Here he's just like, "They killed my mom, so I'm gonna kill all of them. Children, women, everything. Their dogs even got killed." Anakin's a little douchey. God, he's so weird in the scene.
Yeah.
I have the face of somebody who can't come. I can't come.
I just keep trying.
R2-D2's been helping me.
I keep thrusting and nothing happens.
Oh, there's a lot of masturbating jokes in this commentary.
Phantom loads.
Hey,
the Phantom loads. That's probably there's a porn pilot.
At least up until
just the men.
This second we have not used the phrase "gaping asshole" in this commentary.
There it is, gaping asshole.
Until now, so I thought we were doing pretty well.
Holy shit, this would be if I okay, so we're all friends. If I were just I was really disturbed, you guys came over and you're like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, my neighbor, he was just an asshole, so I slaughtered him and his wife and his child. I just slaughtered them. They're animals. You'd be like, we need to call the police.
Yeah, dude.
You
murdered.
Angry used to be human.
You murdered the shit out of those people, and that's illegal. I guess Tusken Raiders can be described as maybe more animal-like. We don't ever really get to see them.
I mean, they build shelters. They have tools that
they're not animals. I mean, they're civilized to a point.
They're obviously sentient beings. They might be a primitive society, but they're
Yeah. Bye, my darling wife. You could lick an asshole.
And now the floodgates have opened.
And the Disney lawyers are giving us a phone call right now.
Yep.
This is a PG-rated film.
Could you, in your commentaries, please refrain from making jokes about analingus?
Looks like you just melted into the ground. Yeah, analingus. Ashes to ashes.
Because that's how a lawyer would refer to eaten butt.
I just think you did say eaten butt.
Could you refrain from making comments about eating butt?
There's probably people listening right now who are like, "This is a somber scene. His mom just died. You're talking about eating buttholes. What's wrong with you people?" Look, we're doing all 6 of these comments. We're doing all 6 films. We're doing the EWOK films. We're doing the holiday special. Shit's gonna get weird.
And the more of these we do in one day, the weirder it gets.
If we did one more, I think it'd be stir crazy.
Oh god.
The giggles.
Yep, there they come. There
R2,
they come.
what are you doing here? And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I finished masturbating."
I was just masturbating over in the shit.
Oh. I do like the design of C-3PO's sort of not quite C-3PO.
Right. He's getting there, but he hasn't been gold plated yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the evolution that we've seen from episode 1 to this one has been it's been cool to sort of see that.
He's got a red arm, I think, in the new movie.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was very distracted as a youngster that you kind of see Natalie Portman's nips. Not gonna lie. Natalie Portman's nips on that outfit. Boom. I'd love to see like what it looks like right now where he is, because it's just like all this recording and stuff. It's just so bizarre how they do that. Man, we're gonna do some shit. That's what's going on in Mace Windu's head right there.
I wonder how many outtakes there are of Samuel L. Jackson saying motherfucker in various scenes of this. I would just love to see a cut of all the times that Samuel L. Jackson dropped the MF bomb in the filming of this movie.
I wonder if he does. Like, I wonder if that's a common thing or that's just a movie thing that he does.
He probably like doesn't swear at all in his normal life.
He's like super Christian.
Yeah, just like a teetotaler.
Believes Jesus is gonna come back.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there talking about how great Donald Trump
Buddhist
is.
Monk.
It's like Alice Cooper. He's actually like a like full on born again Christian and like keeps all of his live shows completely clean as far as swearing goes. It's like what? It's all a persona. Yeah, I just heard an interview with him.
Really?
Yeah, Alice Cooper. No joke.
Sad.
I mean, he looks at what he does as vaudeville. Like he everything he's doing, it's completely an act, and
that's a cool shot.
Yeah. Actually, Groucho Marx at one point said that he was the last holdout of vaudeville that there was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you gotta give him credit for that.
Jimmy Smits is in this movie.
I know. I can't take him seriously.
What is Jimmy Smits doing? I mean, I like
and he's
Jimmy
got
Smits,
a sweet ass collar going too.
He's got a frilly cravat style like collar thing.
That's a sweet ass sweater that he's got going on there. Man's got style.
Yeah, so this is where basically they're going to give Palpatine powers to basically be the Emperor. Not the Emperor yet, but to build the Grand Army of the Republic and do the Clone War.
Yep.
And it's kind of up to Jar Jar to kickstart this. So.
He's the representative from Naboo.
Yeah. See, Jar Jar's like thinking about it and thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fuck shit up. Christopher Lee, who recently passed away in June of 2015. Rest in peace. Christopher Lee is one of my faves. We talked about it on a previous commentary. He is also not only is he known for playing, Dracula and Count Dooku, obviously in this, and Saruman and Lord of the Rings, and just countless, probably like hundreds of movies he was in throughout his career. But he is also a heavy metal artist. So if you've never heard any of Christopher Lee's heavy metal music, he did it in his 90s. So give it a shot. It's ridiculous. It's sort of crazy, but it's awesome. He did like a Christmas heavy metal album. Definitely worth. You kind of chuckle, but it's fun. It's fun to listen to at Christmas time. So
yeah, I'm gonna
throw it in the playlist.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Qui-Gon always spoke highly of you.
So Alex, at this point into this film, what's your general impression, given this is your first watching of it? How's it striking you so far?
This is really incredibly boring movie. Like, I mean, the first one I was like,
first one has its moments.
Yeah, I was like, I can see why people don't like it, but this one is just like, they're just talking and stab someone or something.
Yeah, I feel like Ian Malcolm and Dress By. Are you gonna have any action in your action picture? Because I mean, this is another one where there's an action scene at the beginning with the chase where Padme is almost killed, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's been it.
Yeah, there really has been nothing.
There is the Jango Fett.
Yeah. There was that minute and a half long action sequence,
which is fine, but there's no music during that scene. There's actually like no score, if I recall correctly. It's like very quiet, and so it just feels a little offbeat. There's a little scene with Jango Fett where they fight on Kamino. It's all kind of lifeless action. It's not very engaging.
And there's the the conveyor belt scene that's coming up here shortly, right?
The whole finale is action.
Right. It's it's going to have been like an hour and a half of boring and then just a whole lot of shit that happens until the end of the movie. But getting to the point where any of that starts, it's a bit of a slog to get there.
So is this just setting up stuff for the third movie? Is the third movie going to be just like wall-to-the-wall interesting things, or is it going to be more talking?
The third movie is probably, of the three, the most interesting. Though it still suffers from a lot of the same problems.
Yeah, I mean the third one has a decent amount of issues, and the acting is still pretty flat, but at least things happen in it.
Yeah, like here, sorry, I would cut you off.
No, go for it.
You got Mace Windu who just walks in and then stops and just sits and they talk, and then Jar Jar is just standing and talking, and it's all very flat. Yeah, here's where they give Palpatine this idea to bring order to the galaxy, and it was all Jar Jar's recommendation. It is with great reluctance that I am in this film. Right. I love democracy. I love the Republic. Yes.
The layout of those little pod things is pretty cool.
Yeah. I like some of the symmetry of it's neat. I was recently watching the Cosmos series, and there's that. I don't know if either of you have watched the Neil deGrasse Tyson. You should check it out. It's definitely good. There's a scene in some sort of like underground Japanese facility that's very similar looking to this. For people who are listening to this commentary who've seen Cosmos, they're probably like, yeah. For people who haven't, they're like, that story isn't interesting. I don't know what. Yeah. I feel like Kamino should have been the planet that Obi-Wan is on now, and Geonesis should have been the planet that was water. I don't know why. It's always kind of.
See, when I hear Kamino, all I think of is the car / truck hybrid thing from the 70s.
Yeah.
It's
probably what he named it after.
Like, man, I used to drive a sweet El Camino. Let's name a planet after that.
I wish I could clone 1,000,000 of them.
I never really thought of the Clone Wars as being literal clones for some reason. Like when I was a kid, when I heard the Clone Wars, I had like an idea that the Clone Wars was like was some kind of thing, but I didn't really like recognize that it was necessarily clones, but something else. Like,
see, I had
something
thought
a little less literal.
I had thought it was over like, should people be allowed to clone themselves? Like I thought it was a war over the idea, like that, should that be something that's allowed, and there are two sides with like the pro clone and the anti clone, and they start fighting each other. I hadn't realized until this movie that the Clone Wars were actually like, there are massive numbers of clones.
Yeah, it's in context of all of it, it makes sense where they're going with all of this and what have you. I think the problem is they lost sight of keeping the story thoroughly engaging throughout. It's interesting. It certainly has its moments. It has some really great iconic shots. It has a lot of ideas, but this one feels the most just like a pause. And I think he was trying to follow the structure of Empire, because Empire is similar in that not a lot happens in Empire. Like, I think I've mentioned the video, like a lot happens, but
right.
But in terms of plot, you're looking at, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia escape the Empire. Luke goes and gets trained. Han and Leia spend most of the picture trying to evade capture, and are eventually captured, and everybody comes together. The story itself is very simple. There's not a lot to that. It's all about the characters. Here, it's kind of all about the story. And it's a fine example of telling and not showing. There's a lot of telling.
Oh yeah.
I think The Matrix Reloaded suffers from that same problem. There's a lot of telling.
And the thing is, like, with the first film, if you write down the plot points on paper, it's kind of dull sounding. This one, if you actually write down the plot elements of this, it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And so, whereas the first film, while the concept was not that intriguing, compelling, what have you. This one, there's some solid concepts in here. It's just presented in such a dry way so much of the time.
But look at this. Even the action scene is on a flat fucking surface.
Right.
It drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely insane.
Hey, at least she played lots of Crash Bandicoot, so she's pretty good at this.
Yeah. Whatever was inspired by that.
I mean, again, this was the scene that I mentioned that when I saw it in theaters, I was like, well, they've got at least one action sequence ready for the video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I first saw this, I liked it more than episode 1, I think, because it did have more of a plot. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. I think it had more of a story. It had a little more, like, intrigue. I think it doesn't work in hindsight because it's a movie that kind of played well once and then, for me, has not played as well. Like, I think the political stuff is actually the most interesting stuff about it. Just realizing how easily people get manipulated into doing something that's really terrible. Mm-hmm. You're seeing it now in culture. In culture now, you're seeing a little bit of like, both sides, liberal, conservative, sort of being manipulated by one means or the other. And so, it's interesting to see that in a sort of fantasy world and sort of overblown and how bad it can really get. But. Conversely, this is just like, imagine if this were Hitler and not Anakin Skywalker. There would be like Hitler had kind of a weird life before he became a monster.
Well, I mean, he was an art student.
Yeah, he was. They should do that. I don't know if they've ever done a movie about that.
Young Hitler?
Young Hitler.
I need to make a TV series out of it. The Adventures of Young Hitler.
This is like the worst laid out factory.
I know.
That they could What should we do? I don't know. How about like vats of molten iron in amongst the like electronics where they're being soldered together.
And I think it's interesting that apparently there's like a universal connector for droid parts.
Yeah.
So that somehow the connector inside this protocol droid that was built by a kid on a desert planet can just pop right into an assembly line and get welded into place, and it works perfectly.
Or, like if I, for example, if my iPhone battery died and I looked over at Alex and I was like, hey, can you give me your Android? I'm going to swap it out. Like, that's not going to work. You have an iPhone, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then maybe it would work. I don't know. but yeah, like, you can't use Android parts for an iPhone, Like, they may have some similar components, but the connectors are going to be different. The way they're put in there is going to be different. Like, robots tend to have, tend to be based on manufacturers.
I mean, maybe that's how he was able, as like a 2-year-old, to make all these robots. Is
it's just like a snap together
so standardized. It's like putting together a computer now. It's like, if you have 15 minutes and a couple $100, you can make something kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible, actually.
What was that zoom in right there? It's like a 70s style zoom in. A TV show. You just touched my foot. You
I think I did.
Over there.
I think I did. Sorry, this movie just gets me in the mood.
Gets R2 in the mood too.
He's like all right,
flopping his little penis and things. The R2 penis. There's gonna be people who are gonna be like, "That's not R2's penis. It's a communication device. It's a communication device. Stop ruining Star Wars for me."
That's a form of communication.
Yeah. What is this? Why? This movie. Movie's redonk.
I don't even understand exactly what part they're trying to create here.
It's irrelevant. His lightsaber just got killed.
Oh, not again.
Oh, did I do that?
See, Jaleel White. Jaleel White needs
This doesn't quite have as much of that TGI Friday design, but every once in a while it has that.
See, when you say that, it sounds like you're talking about the restaurant.
Doesn't have the atmosphere of TGI Fridays.
Doesn't have enough shit on the walls. Can you put more shit on the walls?
Flair is weak. Here we go with the Gladiator.
Here we go.
We're getting into the Gladiator
pretty soon
stuff.
We're gonna get Amidala's midriff.
Yeah, it's a pretty midriff.
That's a good name for a Star Wars themed band.
Amidala's midriff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Better than Rusty Innards. And the gaping asshole.
What are you talking about? That's what he just said. I love you.
I know.
He should be like, really? He kind of is.
That's kind of actually.
Love me? Oh, that's so cool. I'm such a boner for you. I thought we decided not to fall in love. Wow, way to throw that back.
Yeah, that's kind of a dick response there.
God, way to like shame her for her decision to love you, you dick. He's already a member of the dark side. He doesn't even know it. It's such a douche thing to do.
He probably tries to break up with her by text message later on.
Yeah.
Snapchat breakup.
Skywalker
He sends her a
invented the
Snapchat
terms
breakup.
Friend zone.
Sorry, we've been spending so much time together. It just kind of, I don't know. I just didn't really see you that way. See you more like a sister.
Wish you could find a junior senator like this.
Oh my god, the scene. We have a gladiator scene for no reason. We could just kill them.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, why are they here? Are we in a gladiator scene?
Oh, yeah.
How did this happen?
This is the most Star Wars-y little bit here where they kind of acknowledge that, yeah, this is how they meet up. It's a little somewhat close to Star Wars in its execution and the dialogue. The kind of banter that you see in the classic trilogy, a lot of the bantery sort of moments. There's a few moments every once in a while, but there's a lot of I transmitted as you requested, Master. Yeah, that's the best. That's probably the best line in the movie right there. I thought I rescued. Good job. It's good. I actually had this action set. Came with pillars.
This is one of the action sequences in the Lego Star Wars game as well. So I'm quite familiar with this. You can actually in that one they keep throwing enemies at you. So if you have the character studs add-on for your characters, like if you found that little perk, you can manage to rack up massive amounts of studs. So little pro tip there for Lego Star Wars.
Value-added commentary.
I know they're fans of the Lego Star Wars games. They're good games. Okay, so like, where is this stuff? Does it live on this planet? Because like, we never see it outside of here. So like, does it live on the planet? What is it?
Do they just like go to other planets to find the like scariest creatures? I feel like it's sort of like
one's seeing her do that. Yeah.
I feel like it's sort of like the Rancor was in Return of the Jedi, where it's just there are these rich people that collect scary animals.
And again, like I mentioned with the Coke thing before, like this scene is like the Rancor scene on Coke.
Absolutely.
But very clearly modeled, like the sound design of it, and so very much modeled after Gladiator. Why aren't they like doing anything? Like no one's stopping her from what she's doing right now. No one's like, shoot her, she's escaping. So this is an action scene that we're seeing right here.
Why don't they just do that "you don't want to eat me" mind trick thing?
Or the fast Jedi running. It's another one where they don't use the fast running ever. Yeah, that's how that would work. The chain. Yeah, they forget George Lucas in particular.
And
there, it's gone.
midriff.
Now it's just randomly ripped off.
I mean, come on, come the fuck, seriously. Not that I mind seeing.
I mean,
midriff.
not that I really want to complain about it.
It's
It's just
midriff.
It's just not really at the same time. Whatever. George Lucas has a habit of forgetting what the Jedi's abilities are.
He's like, oh, those things that I had them do before. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Like he kind of forgets a lot about it.
Now, I don't know if we've seen the mind trick working on sentient beings. I don't know if it works on animals, and so it's possible that the "you don't want to eat me" thing might be outside of the normal range.
I'm sure there's some hardcore fans out there who are like, no, they can't.
Yeah.
But God, my stomach is just growling. Fucking chilly, man.
They better kill these animals fast, or we're gonna be in a stank cloud.
But yeah, this thing looks like He-Man sort of character, like a He-Man monster. They kind of all look like monsters from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
They were talking about making a Masters of the Universe around the time that this came out, so it's possible he was trying to beat him to the punch. Masters of the Universe, of course, is inspired by Star Wars.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
Oh!
I guess.
More Star Wars
I
than
guess.
Star
Boom.
There we go.
Oh!
Little CG Anakin there.
Ugh.
When we can't have the actors actually doing the stunt, we use CG. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have the scene then, because it's breaking the laws of physics.
Yup.
It's being whipped around without it being hurt at all.
If a human can't actually survive that,
then,
I mean, yeah, maybe he's a Jedi, but still.
Maybe he's an alien, Jedi, whatever, but still. Ow!
Yeah,
Ooh.
seriously, that can't feel good on the lady
There's
goods.
the baby maker just got hurt. That sounded terrible. I hate the term baby maker. It's like the worst term. It's such a rotten term. It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. Yeah. Dun, dun,
Oh yeah, little Padme sandwich.
Sandwich.
A little R2-D2 in there, sitting there with his little gear thing. Ready to go. Obi-Wan will take her on down to the massage parlor. For all those who don't know,
in the future, we're going to do a commentary about Episode 4, in which we
maybe imply that Obi-Wan
theorize.
Maybe Obi-Wan might have gone to massage parlors.
Frequented Tatooine massage parlors, and his usual that he would request was the Old Ben special, which is how we got that nickname.
So I got the name Old Ben Kenobi. Oh my god. And all the Jedi just randomly, people we don't know who are Jedis.
It is kind of fun to see like them go full on like Jedi ass kicking though.
This is really the first time we've ever seen it.
Yeah,
this is the absolute first time we've ever seen it.
It is fun to watch because that's not something you've heard them called knights and all of that, and this is the first time you really get to see what the old school Jedi Knights when they were all fighting at the same time looked like.
What was that jump? He just like soared into the air.
Yep.
George Lucas, come on, man. I love you, but
consistency
with this isn't going to end with people just accidentally getting their heads cut off. Here's some new lightsabers for you.
So is there a difference between the green and the blue, or is it just basically the same?
There is. I think there's different strengths to them.
But functionally, you don't really see that play out in the movies much. You in the extended universe, the books and things like that
kind of play around with a little more.
you get a little bit more detail about that. But in the films themselves, it's never really.
The books are generally more consistent in terms of the Jedi's ability than
even the ones that aren't considered canon are usually more internally consistent with the universe than the movies are.
Yeah, Clone Wars series similar as well. They kind of
No, they in the Clone Wars series they have an entire episode or two that's devoted to the younglings getting. I hate that term so much, but it amuses me to use it. But
it's to be another band, the Younglings.
The Younglings. But it involves them selecting their crystals and building their lightsabers, and the process involved in selecting a crystal, and it's sort of a test in itself of picking that. So, and that's what determines the color is the kind of crystal that's selected. So, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then they just like toss you one when you need it. So
right.
It doesn't really matter.
Right. I don't think you get to keep it though. It's like it's sort of a thing of any Jedi can use any sword in a pinch, but you're a lot more comfortable with your own. Sort of like Harry Potter. Like
it's like the wands.
You can use anyone's wand, but it doesn't necessarily always behave exactly like what you're used to. I think it's the same thing of it's a personal thing, and the one you build yourself you feel a closer connection to and can use better.
It's like a sex toy.
Exactly. The sex toy you build yourself is always the one you feel closest to.
Like Build-A-Bear.
Is that your sex toy?
That's what I put in the. What I put in it was endurance. Easy to clean.
Ooh, Jango Fett just died.
I feel like Christopher Lee, out of him. in his head, he was also going, oh,
boss.
And Boba's not happy about that. He just saw a Jedi kill his dad.
Yeah, the whole art or C-3PO thing here is really dumb.
Yeah, it is.
I can't remember what I was gonna say, so whatever. It's done. Yeah, this is a cool scene in a lot of ways.
And this is a scene cool. that I can tell you for certain that I have nephews that think this scene is awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
this is a scene that appeals to kids.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one that hit the target audience and connected.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they aren't really for us. You know, people in their 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. They're really not. I mean, they are, but they aren't. They're meant for. They're meant to be for kids. They're meant to be enjoyed from a young age to an old age. Though I have a feeling the newer ones are probably going to appeal more to our demographic because we'll take our kids kind of thing.
Right.
You know, that's what made Jurassic World a huge hit. Is, you know, it's a film that, you know, people of our generation took our kids to go see, and that's why it made $1 billion. But anyway, that's a separate digression.
Some of these animals might be endangered, and they're just kicking the crap out of them.
Yeah, we don't even know. I mean, that thing could be the last of its species. And they just
like an albino tiger.
You got that, like. There we go. There it is.
Just dragging the head along.
Oh, such a drag.
Womp
womp. First time we've really seen like Jedi just die.
Yep.
You know, because I mean, Obi-Wan disappears in A New Hope. Their Yoda passes away of old age, but like dying in war.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first time. I mean, we'll see more of that in the next film. There's a lot of death in the episode 3, so
there better be.
Now I'm curious here. I'm curious, Michael, Alex.
Yep.
Have you ever tried to use the Force?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it's just like. Wait, you make Wookiee noises, but you never tried to use the Force? You make Wookiee noises,
but you're not like put your hand out and like tried to bring it to your. You know, tried to bring.
Have you ever tried to use
telekinesis
to like summon something from across the room, even jokingly?
I don't remember if I did. I don't think so.
Wow,
you
should try right now. See if you can get your vitamin water to come to your hand. Let's see it. Just use the Force. The Force flows all around you. It binds us.
Maybe
it's the chili. I think
maybe
it's blocking out
the only
artery,
your midi-chlorians.
Midi-chlorians.
The only force you're making right now is in your belly.
Yeah. The Force is strong.
It's about to awaken when you sit on the toilet. Force Awakens. Force is strong with this one. Yoda showing up. Now I love like the around the survivors a perimeter create. Like he has to give orders backwards, is really funny. Like that little turret's kind of cool. At times there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. You know, again, credit where credit is due. The film has some spectacular when it finally does have action. It's pretty spectacular. It's just it kind of forgot to interweave it a little better and interweave the characters a little stronger. Everybody feels a little. It just feels like a rewrite away from excellence. Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's hard because it's not terrible. And it's just, you know, it has its flaws. Oh, my fucking stomach. People are like, I can't even hear it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if they're gonna hear it on the commentary, but you like raging about your stomach is pretty alright in its own.
Yeah, or rage against my chili stomach.
Rage against the.
Yeah, the chili was really good though.
The chili was delicious. Ooh, you know, this is kind of a cool scene here. Like, I actually do like that little moment of young Boba with his dad's head, presumably still inside the helmet, because when it was severed from his neck, it's not like you saw the helmet fly off. So, in theory, Django's head is still inside.
If they would hold with him for like another second, his head would just go and like pop out.
It's held on by a nostril.
I always wanted that, just be like, and the kid be like, ah! And then like brain matter just starts to come out. You're like, holy shit, that was gory as fuck. Yeah, this one was rated. This one was PG. The Revenge of the Sith is the only one of the original 6 that was PG-13, probably because of the younglings.
Those damn younglings.
I'm curious to see what the future has in store for all the Star Wars films, whether they'll all be PG-13 or just, we'll see. I have a feeling PG-13 is kind of the new industry standard for PG. Like, just PG films just seem nowadays to appeal to, kids, and it's just such a scary rating. Everyone gets so scared of the PG rating now, so it's like weird. People are scared of the PG rating because they're scared of that. It means the movie isn't hard.
Right. It means that it's going to be like, they're not going to say fuck. You're not going to like,
Not that they say fuck in any of the Star Wars movies. Revenge of the Sith. Anakin's like, Obi-Wan, you motherfucker! Which they actually wouldn't say because motherfucker implies sex, and that would give it an R rating.
Yeah, there you go.
Fun fact for you people who don't know, if you say fuck in a PG-13 film, it cannot be in a sexual context. I have a piece of trivia for that, too, a secondary piece of trivia. There is one movie that uses motherfucker, to my knowledge, in a PG-13, and that is the film Sneakers.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Sidney Poitier says, "None of you motherfuckers move." He says it so fast, I don't think anybody caught that he said motherfuckers. But like that was a big problem. They made the Die Hard movie in PG when they made Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, or Die Hard 4.0 for international fans. The motherfucker, like they couldn't say it.
Yippee-ki-yay line.
But why? You're allowed to cite other films that use it, so like no one must have known about Sneakers, because if I worked on that production, I'd have been like, Sneakers says motherfucker, we can use it.
Mm-hmm.
Sneakers is a phenomenal film.
Oh, Sneakers!
Yeah, guys
haven't
seen.
Movie.
You people haven't seen. If you people haven't seen.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean, people who listen to us.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was misinterpreting. No, if you out there in internet land have never seen Sneakers, check it out. It's a great film. Dan Aykroyd is in it. Robert Redford.
Robert Redford's in that one.
That guy who's in a lot of things. Ben Kingsley is in it.
Ben Kingsley, Sidney Poitier. Sidney
Poitier.
He's in there.
River Phoenix.
Oh,
River Phoenix is in that. It's a good movie.
Phenomenal cast, front to back.
Yeah.
So good.
Good, kind of like spy sort of.
Yeah, it's sort of like
it's like the movie
spy
Hackers.
Comedy.
It's like the movie Hackers, but like
don't knock the table over again. Don't get too excited talking about Hackers.
If you delete all of what makes Hackers and you just leave the espionage aspect, then you've got it's the worst description. Sneakers, it's like Hackers. No, it's not. But whatever.
But no, it's a great
Watch them
film.
both. Oh, look at that. That's some cool shots right there. This movie really pulls out all the stops in its finale. They're really going for something big, and I guess in terms like these movies were made for about $100 million a piece, $100 million or more, and I have a feeling that this was still kind of an era where we didn't spend $250 million on a movie and have like wall to wall action. So, this is what $100 million buys you is like kind of 2 minor action scenes and then like 1 really big epic one. Whereas you go back to Avengers: Age of Ultron, where like there's so much action that the only scenes I like are the scenes where there isn't action.
It's sort of the opposite problem of this one, where you need a little bit of time to breathe to make the action work. This, you have to wake up when the action finally happens and be like, okay, all right, things are happening again.
Yeah. The clone troopers here are interesting. I like the design, looking a lot like the stormtroopers. I like the Force Awakens, introduces a new style of trooper,
the new helmet that's just a little bit sleeker.
Yeah, I like the helmet's really sleek. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. No, I
that
think
chrome trooper too is looking pretty cool.
Yeah, some of the designs that have come out so far, it's nice because it's you can see a clear lineage
That's
from
an awesome shot. Look at that shot.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, there's a clear, like, you know, you can see from the Mandalorian armor to the clone troopers to the stormtroopers to the new stormtrooper look, whatever they're going to be called if they still are stormtroopers in the new one.
People are going to be watching this like 10 years from now and be like, why are they still talking about The Force Awakens? Like, this hasn't come out yet. We recorded this at a time when The Force Awakens was...
The Force had not yet awakened.
The Force hadn't awakened quite yet. Christopher Lee, who wanted to do all of his own stunts and was... I had read an article about how he was... they wouldn't let him, I think, do his stunts. And he was really angry about it because he was very fit and he was a very... obstinate in the belief that he was very healthy and he was very fit. He used to talk about how he used to run and do push-ups in the morning, and he was just very, 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 very confident in his abilities, and was, I think, disappointed that he didn't get to do as much. Or maybe he did some stunts here, and I can't recall entirely, but you know, he has an interesting figure. Christopher Lee, a big fan of his. Kind of wish he was in the first one as well.
Yeah, it would have been fun to at least see like a foreshadowing of the character in there.
Like maybe he's just there in one scene or something.
Yeah, like just hanging out in the background or something.
Or there's just like an exchange with him and the Emperor Palpatine. You're like, who the hell is that guy?
Yeah.
Because he's around. I think he is a Jedi Knight at that point, because he kind of shifts from being a Jedi to being a Sith Lord. Darth Tyrannus, I believe, is his.
Yes,
is his name.
that is correct.
Yeah, he's kind of a non-villain in this movie. I mean, he gets kind of an action scene here. He gets to do a fight scene where he fights Yoda. And he pretty much just like moves his arms around, and then Yoda is like hopping around like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Yoda. Like I'm really on the fence about seeing about the way Yoda moves in this, because on one hand it's fun to see Yoda in an action sequence, but on the other hand, Yoda looks pretty goofy in how he's moving around. Like it doesn't give. Yoda always gave the impression of being this like quiet, powerful fighter. And I expected there to be a whole lot of like impressive force use involved in how he approached it, as opposed to, you know, like being a cricket that was bouncing all over the place.
They kind of do it backwards here, because they use the Force ability. When Yoda shows up, they use the Force, like they use like the pressure of the Force or whatever. And then they're like, well, we're not going to be able to determine who's the winner here. So, yeah, Christopher Lee's head has very clearly been placed over top of another actor. Which I think was disappointing, because I think he was a fencer and really wanted to do... I think that's what
so even the swordplay was probably...
Yeah, that's what like drew him to it. So him and Yoda, like... they go through this thing, and then they decide to fight with lightsabers, and it's just sort of like, you did that backwards. You should have fought with lightsabers for like a minute or two, and then did the Force stuff, or none of it. I don't know. I don't really. It just, again, rewrite rewrite would have fixed it up. I don't like that the clone troopers are CG. I think that again, as the film ages, it becomes more and more clear that they're CG.
Yep.
This is actually, you know, I'd almost be more okay with George Lucas doing special editions of this one, largely because I think these films, you could polish up the effects. As effects get better, you can re-render them at higher resolution and get a better texture and depth out of them. And,
right.
You know, I think it would be kind of neat to see the effects redone in that way. This is kind of the, he's like Darth Maul. He's got the double. Yeah, this is cool. Looks cool as hell.
No, it's fun to watch, except that
he loses it immediately.
Yeah. See, that's like me anytime I play pinball, though. Like, as soon as you get the double ball one, it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then within, like, 5 seconds, the other one's gone. It's like, oh, well, that was cool for the second.
There's a trick to that. My friend, Todd Jacobison, co-host of Whatnots, is a big pinballer, and he will tell you that there is a, you have to kind of focus, just focus on one ball at a time, and you'll do all right. And it's true. Like, if you kind of, everything kind of falls in place. All that's just bonus points. So.
Oh yeah.
His arm is gone in a way less climactic way than how Luke loses his hand.
Yep.
But whatever.
Now there's just sort of a Jedi pile over there.
I had a dream one time that I made the world's greatest pinball machine.
Yeah.
And that's my goal in life, is to become wealthy and build the world's greatest pinball machine.
Well, Todd Jacob Eisen can help you with that.
All right.
Yeah.
He owns a pinball machine. He's been fixing it up.
Nice.
It's a good hobby. We may do a Whatnots, or maybe not a Whatnots, but we may do a show on Permanently Geek about pinball.
You know, I do love me some pinball. There's a pinball parlor that's opening up in Cleveland, like, right around the corner from me, which is, I'm sure Todd's also excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that you two have
You folks in
discussed
internet
that.
land, if you ever come up to Cleveland, check it out.
Absolutely, called Super Electric.
Yeah.
And
I've heard of that. Where is that going in?
it's a corner of
It's getting really Cleveland centric right now.
Never mind.
West 65th in Detroit.
Oh.
Right next to the Capitol Theater, where
There's somebody listening in like Afghanistan right now. It's like, I'm never going to go to Cleveland.
And
It's your own damn fault.
in about 15 minutes at the Capitol Theater, there is a midnight showing of American Psycho.
Yeah, it's awesome. Force power.
So Yoda can... I thought only the bad guys could do this finger bang
he's
thing.
absorbing it.
Oh.
This is a lot like, one of those wizards duels with the wands against each other in Harry Potter. I feel like when they made the Harry Potter movies, they might have actually thought a little bit about how this was portrayed here.
Yeah.
And here we go. Boing,
and
boing,
Sonic
boing,
the Hedgehog
boing,
versus
boing, boing,
an
boing.
80-year-old man with a CG head. Like, he's literally just swinging it back and forth while Yoda just hops all around. It was phenomenal the first time I saw it. It was like, holy shit, this is not what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same rate, it's
So he can do this, but he can't get off his ass and walk.
That's what I was
he's like
saying.
floating
earlier.
around
Like,
earlier.
he's like hovering on that little floaty chair thing. But yeah, he can do this. So he's just lazy.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Again, I keep going back to the one more rewrite of like just trying to tweak how the emotion of the characters functions to try to, give them some sort of depth. Like here, even Yoda doesn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, he's doing stuff, but like we don't really learn much about him in this movie. We don't really learn much about Mace Windu. We know that their ability to use the Force has diminished, but that doesn't tell you anything about them.
Yep.
It doesn't give you an idea of the conflict that's going on in their head or anything.
Sorry to be stuck on this. So they get to choose the color of the lightsaber. but only the bad guys have red ones. So like when they're choosing it, if your youngling or whatever it's called chooses the red one, are you like, shit?
It's like wanting to go be in Slytherin when you're in Harry Potter world.
Like you gotta figure that they're gonna turn out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, or do they like swap it out later? Like I'm going for the red one now.
I mean,
there are some that have red.
Some good ones.
Yeah. I mean, just like anything, there are going to be good people who are maybe a little on the sketch side. So I do think it is pretty indicative when you have a red one.
There's the light side, the dark side, and the sketch side of the Force. Where you're just a little bit creepy.
I think it would have made sense actually to have Anakin have the red lightsaber for at least some of the film. I think it'd have been neat if he would have picked up like Count Dooku's lightsaber at the end and has it for the third film and puts the other one away. Puts the blue one away, which will eventually be given to Luke Skywalker.
Right.
I remember this was supposed to be kind of like a twist. What
a twist.
Yeah, like he comes down here and he lands and he's you see Darth Sidious and you're like, oh, he works for Darth Sidious. It's like, yeah, we know.
Like
we
weren't supposed to have figured that out already.
Like, we've seen episodes 4, 5, and 6, right? Like we know
Palpatine.
we
know who the Emperor is.
We know that the Emperor's name is Palpatine. Like we know this, so it's not a big secret. I think the idea is you're not really supposed to know that. I think you're supposed to just think he's Count Dooku. You're not supposed to realize he is a Sith Lord of some kind. Lord Tyrannus. But yeah. It's, they can't all be perfect.
Nope.
Can't all be perfect.
Nope.
It's a pretty film.
It's at least at the end, after that action sequence, you feel a little bit more satisfied about the movie than you think you're going to.
You leave with a smile.
Exactly. Like 3/4 of the way through the movie, you're like, my God, is this going to end?
Holy Christ.
And then after that action sequence, it's like, all right, cool. That was that. I don't feel like I completely wasted my time.
You're like, God, I'd rather have a colonoscopy. No, I definitely would choose this over a colonoscopy.
Have you ever had a colonoscopy?
No.
Well, then you don't know what you're missing.
You're missing one.
I've got a 2-for-1 special coming up this week. Simul Alex, proctologist extraordinaire. See, I don't think we've ever told them what it is you do as a day job. So.
I have a story.
You're a data transponder. That's what we've mentioned.
Let's put a pin on this colonoscopy thing, and I have something to tell you after this shuts off that is totally not appropriate.
Wow.
But you folks in internet land
beyond the realm of what we deem appropriate.
Beyond the realm of the internet. He doesn't want to talk about it. This is beyond the internet. I don't even know what that would be. That's just the internet is a dark
Could we
place.
be arrested for talking about
a different colonoscopy story? So when I was in college, I had this lab partner who was like Vietnamese and barely spoke English. Like, not a good English speaker at all, which is fine.
Brilliant visuals. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
Anyway, back to that.
Right. Back to Vietnamese.
One day he walks up to me. We're leaving class. He goes, I was like, so how was your weekend? I forget what his name was. He goes, oh, it was bad. I'm like, well, what happened? He goes, I had cloco. I'm like, what did you have? And he goes like this. All right, how am I going to describe this in audio? Make an okay sign with your left hand, and then a fist with your right hand, and punch your way through it a bunch of times while saying in a thick Vietnamese accent, "I not virgin anymore."
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And the moment it dawned on me, like, oh, like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, well, that's a bummer.
I saw Star Wars Episode VII, Attack of the Clones. There it is, the end of the movie. If you saw this in non-digital theaters, he had a glove on, in the digital theaters. He has the metal hand. That was digital only edition.
I like the only difference.
And it ends with a butthole as it zooms in to tie it all together with your colonoscopy. I hope people at home can hear that, like, the smacking sound. There it is. Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones. Masterpiece.
That was
greatest film.
It was more boring than Episode 1, but there were fewer things that really annoyed me about it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
that's fair.
It was kind of dull, but it didn't piss me off as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it has its place. It's important in the series. It is an inconsequential movie in that you're just waiting for Anakin to go to the dark side, and like I remember that was the thing that annoyed me the most is you get out of the movie and you're like he's still not in the dark side, and I'm just annoyed. I wish the movie would have ended with. I remember when I saw these when they were fresh in the theater. I remember thinking like it would be really cool to see Mace Windu. I remember when I was speculating about what it would be. I thought it would be cool to see Mace Windu go into like some sort of undercover role to try to expose the Sith, and Palpatine tells Anakin to look into this thing, and Anakin looks into it and accidentally kills Mace Windu. And that's the thing that starts him on the path to the dark side. At the end of the movie, you would leave it with him being like, what happened to me?
I mean,
I killed somebody.
Alternately,
and maybe he lies about it to everybody else.
With just shuffling around the pieces, that are already in there. I think if they had managed to adjust it so that the quest to find his mother had started before the big climactic action sequence, and it ends off with him finding her and just killing everyone, and that's what you finish the movie on.
If after the wedding scene, he goes back there and kills every single one, and the movie just goes to black.
Right.
Could you imagine? Be like, holy shit!
Yeah. Like
Anakin just killed the fuck out of all of them.
He had found his mother earlier and had, and she was dead, and he'd left, and then at the end, he's been brooding on that, and he just goes and kills them all. Like he waits, goes back, kills the entire village. So it's not even just pure rage,
like a hot blood, cold blood sort of thing. That's interesting.
So I think that would have been just like a brilliantly chilling end to it, as opposed to sort of in the middle, like, oh, he's going down the path, and then at the end, well, nothing happened. It's like, oh shit, that's my god, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I've said it many times now, but a rewrite to just sort of restructure this story, I think was necessary. I think everybody was just too scared to like kind of say, George, I think this is the better way. And I think that's, George had been years and years of sort of fighting people on the original trilogy to try to get the movie he wanted to make, and having ideas and then kind of butting heads with people. And I get a sense that George likes things the way he likes them. And they've worked for him. They've made him the person he is. He's a billionaire now, and he's pioneered so much. But at the same rate, I do think, and I've said this for a while. This is the first movie where it's like it's become a psychosis now. Like no one really wanted to say anything to him. He just wanted to tell the story way he wanted to tell it. But at the same rate, he's also trying to like appeal to. He's trying to appeal to like an audience that maybe didn't like Episode 1. He's trying to appeal to them, and that sort of ends up being a turnoff on its own way. He does strike, I think, the best balance in Episode 3 because that's the story everyone wanted. Michael Jackson is a visual effect designer on this. I'm just saying in the end credits. But yeah, I think it is it's a flawed picture that has good moments and bad moments. It maybe doesn't have as many like nails on the chalkboard kind of grinding moments that Episode 1 has. It does and the reason why I think it is my least favorite is it's just boring. It's not. It has some really great action at the end, but I think the middle just drags. And it's not bad, if you like the movie. Again, don't, I'm sure there's people who would listen to this and be very upset to hear people bitching and making fun of it or whatever. I know that people have very passionate responses to the Plinkett reviews. But I mean, don't think just because we didn't like it that it's not a worthy film or not something that we will watch often and love. It's just something that I think, just from a structural narrative standpoint, character standpoint, I think it misses a little bit. It misses the mark in that way, at least for us. Who knows? Again, every movie is someone's favorite movie. So,
I mean, I think what I like about Star Trek better than Star Wars is the complexity of the universe. Like, there's so much going on and stuff, and I think there's a lot of that in this movie. So I'm trying to figure out like why didn't I like this as much as I like all the Star Trek stuff? And I think it's because the Star Trek stuff is the complexity is split off into bite-sized pieces.
You get one episode for one issue.
Yeah, and this is like 2 hours and some number of minutes of just like, it's like a history class.
This is like 4 seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation smashed into 2 hours. Obviously it's not going to work if you just smash that much into one thing, and that was. That was a flaw of the prequels is trying to tell a very big story without realizing that nuggets are a better way to tell a Star Wars story. One little story that takes place in a bigger story. I think maybe the best way when we get to Episode 3, I mean I do think like maybe it would have been cool to see the whole story, like he maybe transitions to Darth Vader in the first one, and the whole thing is about like that transition to being evil, like that slow transition. Instead the film kind of spends a lot of time with him as a good guy because I think Lucas was worried that people would not emotionally connect to him as a bad guy. But as it stands, he's kind of creepy now. Mm-hmm. He's like a weird, creepy weirdo. But the film is over. We are now watching the I believe this is either the THX pretty cool little CG thing that plays at the end of the Blu-ray. Which we can't hear because we have it muted, but it looks cool as shit.
It really does. Although it had one of those plants that has the like individual little seed cavities in it that freaks people out. Yeah. They don't bother me, but I'm amused at people that that it really does.
But the tiny holes. I actually have a weird thing about tiny holes, though that didn't bother me.
Okay.
I can't remember what that one's called. The tiny holes is weird.
Yeah, there's a specific term for that phobia, but I'm blanking on it right now.
Yeah, that was Star Wars Episode VII, Attack of the Clones. I mean, this movie is so boring that we kind of already analyzed it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's that much wrap up that we need to do at this point.
Yeah,
I think we sort of hit most of the notes.
I feel like it's one that's sort of an open and closed case of like just a movie that's good but not. I just want so much more out of it. It's like it's like depresses me when it's over. I'm just like, God, that could have been. Like, it, like, you know, Attack of the Clones, like, even the fucking movie should have opened with that scene. Like, the clone scene at the end should have been the fucking opening of the picture, and you're like, holy shit, this movie means fucking business. And then, like, the whole movie's about explaining why the clones came to be, and maybe you learn that was a bad idea, and, like, maybe you could reverse the whole story and, you know, design something that was a little bit darker and maybe a little bit more engaging. But, you know, yeah, I mean, I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, you know, I watch it every couple of years. I pull this one out and I watch it. It's all right. Natalie Portman's cute in it.
Yeah.
I am not allowed about that.
Gotta give her that.
She's looking pretty sexy in this movie.
Midriff and all.
Looking pretty good, Natalie Portman. If you're listening, and I know you are, Natalie Portman, because I know you just love Star Wars. Give me a call.
And where could she find you if she wished to give you a call?
You can find me at Permanently Geek. Yeah. You can also find me on Twitter at RL Schaefer Writes and on rlschaefer.com and permanentlygeek.com. That's where you can find me. You can email me at permanentlygeek@gmail.com.
Mr. Internet Big Shot.
Ooh, yeah, I'm like all over the interwebs. Alex, where can we find you?
Twitter.
If Natalie Portman wanted to contact you.
At SimulAlex, but I don't think so because of the restraining order.
Oh yeah, how is that? Alex cut her hair once. Alex cut Natalie Portman's hair, but she was asleep and didn't know, and so it was weird.
It was a really sharp katana.
You walked in like Anakin style and just like cut her hair off.
There's a centipede!
She was like, that story isn't true. I know it isn't. You want to know why? You have a twitch. Lets me know it isn't true.
It's his tell.
I'm just making it as your tell is.
It's the chili, not the truth.
The chili talking. Maybe we'll post the recipe for the chili in the bottom. Nice. So people can make the chili and eat the chili while they listen to the commentary. Michael?
Well, Natalie, I had a great time with you last week. If you want to go out again, you can find me on Twitter at MichaelMCFMusic or find me at MichaelMcFarlandMusic.com.
Yes. Be sure, if you like this commentary or you like any of our other commentaries, be sure to subscribe to us. If you don't like this commentary, I'm sorry. I love you.
Are we still talking to Natalie?
No, we're not talking to her.
This is the internet, so I'm sure every comment, every criticism will be constructive and help us do better next time.
But be sure to subscribe to us. We're going to be doing the rest of the commentaries. We do episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As well as the 2 live-action EWOK films and the Star Wars Holiday Special. So be sure to check those out. We'll be uploading those throughout the month of November and December in anticipation of Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. And probably when that comes to Blu-ray, we'll do a commentary on that as well.
Yes,
so thank you for listening, and be sure to check us out. We've got a ton of stuff on here on Permanently Geek. We got Whatnots, we have Play It, Smash It, and all kinds of other stuff. So be sure to check us out. And we will catch you next time. Take care.
Thanks for stopping by.
There it is. It's classic. You need to come up with a line, Alex. You need to come up with a good bye line. I always say take care. That's mine. He says thanks for stopping. What's yours? Come on.
I don't like to think of things on the spot.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
If you just say bye. For now.
I said that. That was me.
Credit to Alex. All right, folks. See you on the next commentary.
Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, so colonoscopies.